Yes, we are here because Justice Innovators Recognition Workshop. And before we proceed, let me ask a volunteer to open with a word of prayer. Any volunteer to open with a word of prayer? Oh, thank you so much. Amen. Thank you so much. So once again, my name is Suzio Chitete. I'll be moderating this function today, Malawi Justice Innovator Recognition Workshop, where Barefoot Law is recognizing outstanding individuals who have played a significant role in the promotion of justice. Let me recognize the presence of Ms. Kada Lewis, Commissioner of the Malawi Human Rights Commission. You're welcome, Madam. And let me also recognize the presence of the Executive Secretary for Malawi Human Rights Commission, Ms. Habiba Osman. You're welcome. Ms. Sof Resin, Advocate and Specialist in Human Rights, Justice and Peace. Group Village Head Kulamula, Group Village Head Mwanza, Group Village Head Chibwana, His Honor Chulu, Her Worship Mwalo, all the inspiring justice innovators, all partners present, all representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Malawi Justice Innovator Recognition Workshop. And for those that are following online, you are welcome on board. Tikulandreni nonse kumwambo watu walero makamaka pali anthu ena amene alandire mphoto chifukwa cha ntchito imene akhala kugwira m'madera osiyanasiyana kupititsa patsogolo nkhani yokhuza chilungamo. Ndiye amene mukutitsatira pa online takulandiranso kumwambo wathu umenewu ndithu. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Alan Mwaya to give us some welcoming remarks before we proceed. I guess, do we have Alan Mwaya? Okay, thank you so much. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Greetings from Barefoot Law. They send their warm regards, slightly less warm than Malawi is, but their regards are well sent and their greetings. I'd like to talk to us about why we're here and why Barefoot Law is here as well. But allow me to begin with a short story. It's when I was growing up, we used to have, everyone was a football player. I don't know why, but everybody was a football player. We all loved football. Now, we had people in the community who were very, very skilled at making the ball. They used to make it out of banana fiber. And as we grew older, as the world advanced, that changed a bit. Somebody would be the rich child in the community and they would have a ball. They would buy a very nice ball and they would set the rules on the playground. What would happen was that whoever owned the ball would choose the best players for his team, would make the rules. So he would determine what was a foul, what was not a foul, what was a goal. Even if he shot to the side of the goal, as long as that was his team, that was a goal. Now, if you disagreed with him, that was it, the day would end. He'd get his ball and he would go right home. And so you would have to try to soothe him overnight so that tomorrow he would bring the ball back and you would play. That was our form of injustice when we were children. What used to happen was you knew that you did not know how to make a ball, you did not know where to get a ball, so you had to put up with whatever rules the owner of the ball set. That was our world as children. Right now, the world seems to have changed because we're adults, but let me tell you, that hasn't really changed. In the world, there are people who will still set rules that you have to follow. These rules tend to be unfair sometimes. They are not rules like the laws of a country, but rules of living between ourselves. So things haven't really changed that much. I'm sure you'll find that somebody will do something that you feel is unfair, something that you feel is unjust. And because you either don't know how to make your own ball or where to find a ball, you may find that you've put up with it. That's how the majority of the people in this country, the country where I'm from, Uganda, in Kenya, and most of Africa live. They don't know how to make that ball, or they don't know where to find a ball so that they can play even when the bully boy has taken his ball home. To bring that point home, justice is a lot like this. People will do things that are unfair, that you feel are unjust, but because you do not know where to go to rectify that situation, or you don't know what to do to deal with it, you'll end up putting up with it. In this country alone, there's a statistic from about 2017 that said that about 73% of the people that were surveyed had had a legal problem. And of those 73%, about 92% had not had it resolved by a formal justice system or even a third party. About 30 odd plus people had just figured that, oh, the problem has sorted itself, so I'm probably okay. But the rest have never had that problem dealt with. They don't know how to make the ball, or they don't know where to get that ball, that justice ball. Now, with Barefoot Law, our goal has been to make people aware of where to find the law and how the law can help them to access justice. Similar to that story, we help people know how to make the ball and where to find that ball. So we use technology. We're a non-profit organization. We do use technology and innovative approaches to empower people. We give them free legal information using those very innovative things, the technology. We use what you have as a smartphone. We use internet-based devices. We use radio. We use outreaches to help these people know what the law says, to give them that legal information so that they're able to make decisions and find legal solutions for themselves. That's what we've been doing for the last 10 years. I'm very proud to say we've been around for 10 years, and it's a journey that has been a great journey of seeing people get empowered and grow and resolve a lot of the challenges that they're having. You might wonder why then we're here. We may not be quite here to do that right now, but we are here on behalf of the Charles Mott Foundation. There's a research project that we're heading that's been happening in Kenya, in Uganda, and in Malawi as well. And the goal of this project is simple. It is to try and discover and find and identify how individuals and organizations are using innovative and creative ways to make sure that there is access to justice in this country. We've done it in Kenya, we've done it in Uganda, and we're also doing it in Malawi. So as part of that project today, we're going to be hearing from innovators that have excelled at doing this. It started out as quite a large group, and we've narrowed it down to these exceptional innovators that are before us today. And they're going to talk us through what they have done, and at the end of the day, we will be awarding the best of those innovators. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those remarks, Mr. Alan Mwaya. If I were in Uganda, I would be saying asante sana. Karibu Malawi, you're welcome in Malawi. Mwachidule nditu akambapo tili pano chifukwa cha anthu ena amene akugwira ntchito modzipereka pogwiritsa ntchito luso losiyana-siyana kupititsa patsogolo nkhani ya chilungamo. And the one thing that I've picked from your statement is that 73% of people in Malawi by 2017, according to the report you cited, had legal problems, and 92% of those had their issues unresolved. Quite alarming statistics there, and I think the emphasis on awareness cannot be overemphasized. People have to become aware that there is a problem, and indeed they will take some action, or indeed they will seek justice from relevant authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to invite Madam Habiba Osman, representing the Gender Justice Unit, and of course she is the Executive Secretary for Malawi Human Rights Commission. Quite difficult to split you from the other heart. Thank you so much. Welcome, madam.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. Good morning, everyone. Of course, I have to start with protocols, so I wear many hats. And just to say to Master of Ceremonies that don't forget that my past I was a human rights activist and defender. And once a human rights activist, always a human rights activist. So I'm so pleased today, for example, to step in on behalf of Gender Justice Unit, not necessarily Malawi Human Rights Commission. Group village heads, Kalamula, Ambilizi and Mwaza, Ulemwanu, the guest of honor, who is also our commissioner at the commission, Madam Skada Lewis, Sophie Racine, specialist in rights, justice and peace, a dear friend and colleague, pleased to see you, His Honor Chulu, all the inspiring justice innovators in the house, all partners present, all representatives from the media, and my colleagues from the Human Rights Commission, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of Gender Justice Unit, and a special welcome to all the justice innovators. And I would like to also take a moment to recognize and appreciate the partner from Uganda, the Barefoot Law Organization. The Gender Justice Unit expresses our deep gratitude to Barefoot Law Uganda for organizing the Malawi Justice Innovators Recognition Workshop. This shows their commitment to democracy, human rights, and the rule of law, which is commendable, and we at the Gender Justice Unit are very proud to be associated with this mission. And this gathering is therefore also a celebration of groundbreaking ideas, remarkable individuals, and transformative initiatives that are reshaping the landscape of justice, just as the colleague who is standing here had mentioned earlier. It is therefore an honor to witness the convergence of creativity, passion, and determination in this room as we come together to recognize and applaud visionaries who are driving positive change in the field of justice. And throughout the morning, I know we will engage through thought-provoking discussions, exchange insights, and hear inspiring stories from our distinguished speakers and the four justice innovators. And from technological advancements to community-based initiatives, we will also explore groundbreaking approaches that are reshaping the way justice is delivered, ensuring fairness, inclusivity, and access for all. So I encourage all of you to seize this opportunity to learn from one another, to forge connections, and foster a spirit of collaboration. Together we can be catalysts of change and create a justice system that truly reflects the needs and aspirations of our society. And as we embark on this journey of innovation and recognition, as we also celebrate the transformative power of ideas and incredible individuals who are paving the way towards a more and just equitable future, it is really my singular honor to thank you for being part of this momentous occasion. The board, as Barefoot Law Awards, the Inspiring Justice Innovators. And once again, on behalf of the Justice Unit, I say thank you. Zigo Mwambiri.
Zikomo kwambiri, Madam chifukwa cha mawaji limbikitso. We thank you for those words, words of encouragement. Surely, I mean, we are here to celebrate the good work that some individuals are doing, especially in a society where there could be a lot of impunity. I mean, the few that are doing better must celebrate it. As somebody said, that the world is a bad place because of a few good people doing nothing. So let's give to the innovators just a big hand. I think you will still enjoy more of the clapping, but before we proceed, we need to have some breakfast, and we'll be interacting, or the program will still. We are having. It will be a bit of an African, because they say when you are eating, you don't have to talk. But I think we'll be talking while we're having breakfast. So just for 5 to 10 minutes, we can grab a cup of tea, and then we are back and we proceed with our program. Thank you so much. Some few statements from the video that is playing, that a man can marry as much as they want in a patriarchal society, and one of the big issues, child maintenance. So yeah, I think we'll get to know more about the stories that are happening in our communities. But from my own experience, not long time ago, it should be 2 weeks, I was somewhere deep in the rural areas in the northern Malawi. Land grabs seem to be quite rampant, and these some of them are actually widows who would have their land taken away. And what is very sad in that particular community is that the women or the victim themselves do not that what is happening to them is unlawful. So when you do know that what is happening to you is unlawful, it also becomes difficult to seek a solution. This is why it feels good that we have institutions like the Human Rights Commission that is everywhere. I know that with the commission, with the presence to the commission, I don't know. It appears like technology is betraying us. Do you have a better mic? Hello? Or I can speak without one. It's kind of. To give us a keynote address. If that mic is working, Chief, or she can use the same mic. Yeah, so she give us a keynote address. I did not preempt a speech. I was only speaking about the commission of what I know. Thank you so much, and I hope we'll pay attention, and where necessary, we can also ask questions thereafter. Thank you so much, Madam.
Thank you very much, moderator. Good morning, everyone. I will ride on the protocols that have been already been observed by previous speakers, including my amazing and beautiful executive director, Abiba Osman. When I received an invitation to attend this workshop, Initially, it was just an invitation that I should attend, as I was called a champion of access to justice in the invitation, and I was actually overwhelmed because I never thought of myself as a champion. There are a lot of human rights defenders in Malawi that I look up to, and being recognized in that way really was quite humbling. And again, when I looked at the invitation, seeing that we are to honor and award justice innovators from the grassroots, it really melted my heart, because rarely in this country do we come together as a people to honor people who are doing things in different areas, and particularly people who are working tirelessly at the grassroots, just to make life easier and human rights possible for the marginalized groups. We honor people who have names in society, people who have done some, in our own definition, great things. But there are a lot of unsung heroes in this country who are doing amazing, amazing work, and no one talks about them. And I hope through this workshop we can also remember those, even though we don't know their names, but just to appreciate for the work that they are doing. So looking at the concept, looking at what this workshop intends to achieve, I think that's one thing that made me to say I must be there. So I must stop whatever I'm doing, I must check my calendar and block it and just be there. And you know what happened? The next thing, I accept the invitation to come as a participant, as a champion, or whatever I am called. And then I receive another one saying, you should do the keynote address. Now that's big. Now I'm thinking, keynote address, what is that? Yeah, so it was also another great honor for me to come in this room where I know that there are equally a lot of people who could have done this, and just giving me this opportunity that I can speak around issues of access to justice as a guest of honor. So I'm truly, truly humbled and honored. And thank you, Barefoot Law, for the great work that you're doing. And I hope we can extend this amazing work across the continent, because the challenges of access to justice are beyond Uganda, Malawi, and Kenya. They are everywhere. So back to my speech. I tried to write something. I would like to thank each one of you for being here and for taking time for us to discuss a critical issue that affects the very fabric of our society. The situation of access to justice for the majority of Malawians, especially those in rural and remote areas, those at the farthest, the voiceless, those at greater risk in Malawi, and the pivotal role that innovation or innovators at grassroots can play in accelerating their access. We are here to honor our heroes who are tirelessly working in making this a reality for our people, and we salute you. I'm mindful that we had a lot of nominations, but as it is always, there are a few who are winners. And like I said, for me, all those whose names were mentioned, and all those whose names have never been mentioned, and all those whose names will never be mentioned anywhere, they are known, I say congratulations. Going to the statistics that Mr. Alan also just talked about, which Barefoot Law shared with me as I was preparing for my speech, that the World Justice Report of 2017 said 73% of people in Malawi experienced a legal problem in the past 2 years, with the vast majority of those legal problems, which is 39%, relating to community and natural resources. So out of the 73%, 92% of these people did not turn to an authority or third party to help resolve their problem, showing the large gap in people seeking help. I wanted us to reflect to these statistics. These are statistics of 2017. And we know that the population in Malawi has grown over the past 3 years, not so? So if in 2017 we are looking at 73% of people who did not seek legal advice, but they had legal problems, it means in 2023, the numbers could be quite huge. And I was just reflecting on these statistics to say, how are these people feeling, really, when they have experienced a legal problem and it is not resolved? How do they feel? How do they carry on with their lives? How are those unresolved issues or unresolved traumas manifest in society, in their communities? I think that paints a picture of a society that for generations may be carrying things that we are failing to resolve. For far too long, the wheels of justice in this country have turned slowly, if at all, for those on the fringes of society, the minority communities, and those living in remote areas. The pursuit of justice is often constrained by geographical and financial barriers and bureaucratic inefficiencies. The marginalized often find themselves unable to access legal representation, understand their rights, or navigate the complex legal processes. The injustice not only perpetuates the cycle of poverty, but undermines the very principles of our democracy that our nation was founded upon. However, there is hope. We live in an era of unprecedented technological advancements, and with these innovations, we have a unique opportunity to bridge the justice gap and ensure justice for all. Technology has the power to revolutionize the legal landscape in Malawi, creating more accessible and efficient systems for all. As we talk about technological advancements, I would also want to emphasize the need to ensure that these technologies are accessible to all. Sometimes we think technology is just for the privileged few, but when you think about, for example, persons with diverse disabilities, technology for them looks different. So as we think through on how we can accelerate access to justice for all, especially for the marginalized, we should also take time to think through on how that looks like for other groups with diverse needs. Digitization of legal services and documents can greatly enhance access to information for marginalized groups. With digital libraries and legal databases, individuals can gain a deeper understanding of their rights and responsibilities. This empowers them to make informed decisions and seek legal redress when needed. Technology also, as we are learning from this workshop, can facilitate remote legal consultations and advice, which is what Barefoot Law is doing. Bravo. In addition to these technological advancements, it is imperative that we invest digital literacy programs, especially in communities where the farthest are living. This ensures that the marginalized can harness the power of technology to advance their legal rights. We must also address the issue of internet accessibility and infrastructure in remote areas. A comprehensive approach to closing the digital divide is essential to ensure that no one is left behind. I wanted to conclude by just sharing a few points from the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities concluding observations on the recent review that was done for Malawi, particularly on the issues that came out on access to justice. I'm talking a lot about this grouping because I get to experience and also share their struggle in how access to justice is still a far-fetched dream for this community. So just a few examples that when it comes to access to justice, the concluding observations have highlighted how in Malawi as we speak, persons with intellectual disabilities and persons with psychosocial disabilities are not recognized as witnesses in criminal proceedings, and the lack of measures across the legal system to recognize defendants who are persons with disabilities, including women and girls with disabilities. So this is just highlighting the need for us to be intentional about reasonable accommodations when it comes to accessing the legal systems. Physical and attitudinal barriers in rural areas are still there, leading to underreporting and lack of remedies for women and girls with disability survivors of gender-based violence, and the lack of information about legal proceedings in accessible formats. This is still a challenge. So someone was just sharing with me how intimidating even our courts are. Even the gowns that the judges wear, they are quite intimidating. Someone gets into a courtroom, you feel like you are completely at a different space. You cannot be yourself. Yeah, so we must begin to break those barriers, make access to justice simple for everyone and accessible for everyone. The concluding observations also highlighted how
the area where you stay sometimes would be a problem. There are also financial challenges, and she also talked about bridging the digital divide. It has to be closed. And even when we're thinking about innovations, we must think about all people, all, and she underlined all, she put it in caps, and let me ask all of us to give her a big hand of applause. Thank you so much, and I also just mentioned that Madam, the guest of honor has actually been reappointed as part of the commissioners for Malawi Human Rights Commission. We're happy for that. That they will still continue to benefit from your wisdom, your passion for issues of human rights. Thank you so much for that. To proceed with our program, we'll be inviting we have 4 innovators, but each one of them will be given an opportunity to make some presentation. Mwina kwanza tumena kuti tsatira pa online tingonena kuti amene amayankhulawo ndithu ndi guest of honor mambo wathu uno komanso ndi commissioner wa bungwe la Malawi Human Rights Commission. Mukufotokoza kwawo akuti nkhani yokhuza chilungamo mdziko muno imakumana ndi mavuto osiyanasiyana. Ena mwa mavuto imakhala nkhani yoti anthu amene akukhala madera osiyanasiyana azikhala ndi mwayi ofanana. Amene akukhala anthu ena pamapezeka kuti pali vuto loti apeze nkhani ya chilungamo, mwina makhoti kumene kukhala kutalikira, palinso nkhani za chuma. Ndipo akuti pamene mabungwe ngati a Barefoot Law akugwira ntchito yotamandika yopititsa patsogolo kuti anthu azikhala ndi mwayi opeza chilungamo mosavuta pogwiritsa ntchito njira zamakono, aziganiziranso magulu ena a anthu mwinanso amene ali ndi ulumali kuti nawonso azikhala ndi mwayi ofanana ndi wina aliyense. Ndiye popitirira ndi program yathu tili ndi anthu angapo amene afuna aperekebe umboni kapena mawu awo pa ntchito imene akugwira madera osiyanasiyana popititsa patsogolo nkhani yokhuza chilungamo mdziko muno. So our first presenter will be Nancy Maguire. Ndikukhulupirira Nancy Maguire mwakonzeka. You have a maximum of 15 minutes. Mumphindi 15 mutifotokozerabe ntchito imene mukugwira mubwera patsogolo kuno kuti timve mawu anu. amene ndi Anansi Magwaya manja mwawo amene aha ndi mwayi kuna musikuthawira patsogola apa ndo tinamkakwelera kumwana muzona sawa okay ndi kuti muthawangira tonga.
Okay. I'm here for Nase Magwaya. I'm Frose Simango. Habu yatu, zina lake ndi Our Body, Our Lives Movement. Ilikuwa area 22. Moyo watu, matupi watu. Guli meneli, linayambika ndi Ajas Associates. In 2007, atabwera kuno ku Malawi. Kwa my area 22, number 2017. Ife ndifazimai omwe tili pa DPT. Guli meneli timagwira ntchito mwaulere mosandira ina iliyonse. Ndipo anatiphunzitsa maphunziro a FMB. Ndifeke timatha kugwira ntchito imene iyi. Tili ma district onse muno Malawi, komanso matiye onse amene ali muno Malawi. Timachilimika pa nsanamira zisanu ndi imodzi 6. Nsanamira yoyamba umoyo ndi thanzi labwino. Nsanamira yachiwiri nkhani za malo. Nsanamira yachitatu chakudya. Nsanamira ya namba 4 kuthetsa nkhaza kapena kuchepetsa. Njira zopezera ndrama. Azimayi zikhani njira zopezera ndrama. Komanso kusintha kwa nyengo. Nzimayi ndokhudzidwa ndi kusintha kwa nyengo. Gulu limene lili ife tikamagwira timagwira ntchito zambirimbiri. Nkhani ya zakudya tanena kaleja timatha kulima ngati azimayi. Pa nkhani yopezera njira yopezera ndrama timatha kupanga business ang'ono. Komanso uthenga wathu timatha kupita m'magulu kupereka uthenga kwa mafumu ngakhalenso m'maskulu ndi community yathu imene timakhala. Azimayiwa sikuti amagwira ntchito paokha. Amagwiranso ntchito ndi ma stakeholders ngati social welfare, Ministry of Gender, Agriculture, mafumu, apolisi ngakhalenso amakhoti. Pa nkhani ya nkhaza zikachitika monga ngati nzimayi kawamenyedwa kapena wagwiriridwa timapita ku polisi. Timamperekeza nzimayi uja kupita naye ku polisi. Apolisi amatha kupereka chikalata kupita ku Central Hospital ngati wagwiridwa timapita ku one stop center. Ngakhale wamenyedwa timapita ku chipatala komweko. Akamona madokotala ku chipatala aja amatibwezaso kuti ku polisi. Apolisi akayona nkhani ja amatha kuitengera ku court. Sitimagwira ntchito zokhazo. Ngakhale mwina munthu uja unena kuti nkhani ja ali ku court kwawo ndikutali kandi ndikulumpi nanga sikuno ndi ku town amathala dzagwira ntchito. Timatha kumusunga pa habu paja akudikirira kuti mpaka na nkhani yake ithe. Koma zimenezo timapanga opanda dipo lina lilonse. Komanso tikugwisa ntchito ndrama zathu zimene zimakhala kuthumba. Tikamagwira ntchitonso timathanso kugwiranso ndi agenda akaona kuti nkhani ja mwina sikuyenda bwinobwino. Amatha kutithandiza kuilondola nkhani ja kuti ibwere poyera. Agenda zikomo kwambiri. Mavuto omwe timakumana nawo ngati ifeyo ahabu 22. Makesezi ambiri amachedwa akapita ku khoti. Ndiye nzimayi uja timatha kumudikiritsa mpaka na nthawi yayitali. Kutalika kwa mitunda itali ngati ku grassroots sitimatha kukafikira fika timakhala kuti tilibe mayendedwe. Anthu akamva kuti ndife ma activist timakhala pa chiopsezo. Timanyozedwa, timapatsidwa mayina. Kwabe timalimba mtima fika ndi ma stakeholders. Apolisi, Ministry of Gender, Social Welfare zikomo kwambiri. Thandizo zomwe taphunzirapo ifeyo. Kuyamba 2007 tindi collective power ngati azimayi. Timakhala ndili ulimodzi. Komanso timapanga zofanana ndiye zimakumana pamodzi. Nkhani zathu zimakhala kuti mphamvu zathu ndi zotani kodi zofanana timakhala tikugwirana ndithu. Ifeyo chimene taphunzirapo kapena kutsogolo kuno zimene tikhoza kupanga tiyenera kupitiriza kugwira ntchito kumapita ku grassroot women kutoti mzimayi wakumudzi adziwa kuti kodi nkhani zake akhoza kumapita nazo kuti. Ife ngati hub 22 ntchito zimene timagwira ndi zimenezi. Poti andipasa 15 minutes. Ndikhoza kuyamba mamawa mpaka nadzuwa kulowa. Fuka timagwira ntchito zambiri. Timagwira ntchito zachifundo komanso timatsogoza Mulungu kuti atithandize kuti ntchito zimenezi zizigwirika bwinobwino. Zikoma kwambiri.
Zikoma kwambiri hub 22 meneyo kuyimira Nancy Gwaya. Tsiku lonse mukanatha kufotokoza mukuchita. Zikoma kwambiri tiaomberenso manja neho nkhani yogwira mtima. Actually a representative from hub 22 and some of the issues that she has raised. Yeah, so some of the issues that she has raised is that I think as a group, they are doing community awareness, targeting chiefs as well as the general community. They also do outreach programs in schools. And where there are issues of GBV or gender-based violence, they report to police. And I think one of the issues that she has raised, justice, or the longer time that cases take in our courts. And indeed, I think that's a general concern. And she says, at the mention of Hub 22, in their area, I mean, GBV perpetrators have their bones shaking. And at least you could tell from the voice that I think it was an activist speaking here. So moving on with our program, we invite a representative from Chikulamayembe Women Forum. And of course, this is Rebecca Namwela Luhanga. Madam Rebecca Namwela Luhanga, you're welcome. And let's give her a big hand as she's coming in front to make a presentation. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. I'm presenting on behalf of our founder, Tuonge Gondwe, who is outside the country. We are Chikulamayembe Women Forum. This is our outline presentation. These are members of Chikulamayembe Women Forum during the meeting on customary land dissemination. Okay. Chikulamayembe Women Forum started in 2007. We started with one TA at Paramount Chief Chikulamayembe as the CBO in Lumpi. But now we are registered as a local NGO. Our forum covers 11 TAs. In short, covers the whole Lumpi district. Our main donors are ActionAid, JASI, Agent Action Fund, and we are coming from patriarchal system. We have goal, mission, and objective of our organization. The focus of the Women Forum is in the following thematic areas. women and girls' rights, food security, health, education, governance, economic empowerment, access to justice, GBV, and climate justice. We use the approaches, human rights-based approach and the feminist. Why we use this? We want to empower the girls and the women to charge their own lives. That's why we, as organization, is using two approaches. We have many successes. For example, in Rumpi, where we are, we have a safe place for survival of violence. We have a safe haven. We are also the disseminators of law policies, and we promote raising awareness in the communities. We have good coordination and collaboration with other stakeholders like the police, court, and other local NGOs. We have raised the violence of women and girls and taking action collectively. Women are aware of their bodies and taking care of bodies and demand justice. We managed to lobby chief so that women can have right to land. As I said, we are coming from a patriarchal system where women do not own land. So through lobby involving chiefs, now women have the access. Now they are owning the land. Another one is lobby with the chiefs so that women can inherit chieftaincy. Why? We are coming from patriarchy where women do not become a chief. Why? They prefer that women will get married and stay at her husband's land. So the chieftainship goes to only male children. So through lobbying, now we have women that are chiefs. Another thing, there is the value of money. The little funding we get from other donors, communities are benefited a lot, and we are able to reach more people. Because of experience and other partners, because of our experience in Lumpi, other partners refer their cases to us for justice. Instead of handling themselves and close the case, but sometimes they decided to refer to us so that we can we can handle the case. E.g., the child protection workers, they refer the cases to us, even the victim support unit and other local NGOs that are there in Lumpi. Communities build trust on us, hence we receive more cases, including from Nzimba North. Why? As I said that we are in Lumpi, but apart from to handle only cases from Lumpi, other neighboring districts also come to us with their cases. so we receive more cases. We have reduced the pressure from court by reducing number of cases that handles. It's like now we are sharing the cases. Instead, all the cases we are handling at Chigula Maembe goes to court, but you find that we are taking some of cases handled with us. So the pressure there has reduced. The Paramount Chief has channeled all the cases related to land to be handled in his office. As I said, that our system is patriarchy. So we receive the cases related to grabbing the land. So the Paramount himself promised to handle all these cases. So once we have identified that case, we refer to the Paramount Chief. When the organization, another success is this one. When organization is at community level, many people demand the service. It's like the service is available at the community. So a lot of people access the service. 12 of girls who withdrawn from marriage now are working as nurses, as teachers, and some they are working in vocation jobs. So for us, we see as a success. Some chiefs and men have started giving women land through their, although there is resistance. As I said, it's difficult in the patriarchal system to access the land. But other chiefs, through our awareness, now they are able to give the land to women. Once a case is identified with us, we make sure that we make follow-ups till the matter is closed or the justice is done. Other partners also recognize us as the Chigula Maembe Women Forum by involving us to be part of their case conference. After identifying the case during the case conference, they invited us to be part of them. Let's see some of our challenges. There is resistance from chiefs, threat us as if we have taken their law. Because we know the custodian of handling these issues are chiefs. So now they think as we as women, as the Chigula Maembe Women Forum, have taken their law. Another challenge is when there is argument related to chieftainship, so it slows down our development because it's difficult to hold some meetings there. Some bad cultural practices have been just modified. Through our awareness, we know this is bad, so instead of continuing, they just modify it so that they can continue with the bad practice. To us, we see it's a challenge. For example, during the chieftainships, you find men, women and girls are dancing. Why it is bad? Girls are supposed to be at school. They are busy doing rehearsals. They are busy. Instead of going to school, this also reduce their performance at school. So to us, we see it's a bad practice. Although we are providing justice, we noted that the case of sexual harassment, they are still increasing. So to us, we see this is another challenge. Women having access to land are few. Nevertheless, the 70 to 80% of women in Lumpi are doing agriculture work. But in terms of access to land, there are few that have that access, that are owning their own land. So to us, we see it as a challenge. Another challenge is lack of motivation. Why? As the Chikula Maembe Women Forum, we work as volunteers. So there is no any incentives attached. That's why we notice this is another challenge for us as women. Okay, another challenge is lack of capacity building. This one we were looking the community-based paralegal. Our paralegals, others went for training, but these things supposed to go for refresher training because every time we find the policies, constitution are revised, so there is need for that refresher. So we see as the lack of capacity building. Sometimes why we are saying things goes with the terminology, maybe they are using the terminology we were using 5 years back instead of using the current terminology on legal. Lack of funding, although we said we have donors, but what we receive is very minimal. That's why we work as volunteers, so again. Okay, let's see our best practices. Working collectively with different stakeholders in accessing justice makes law enforcers and jury bearers fear to be blind. And working alone, you are being labeled or attacked. Because we involve a lot of stakeholders, including the jury bearers, so sometimes the case moves easily. Even if there is someone who wants to do some bribes, he always or she always fear because the case is handled by a group of people. Another best practice, mobile courts are virtual to access to justice because judiciary take part to raise awareness. During the mobile courts, it's like they hear information from the magistrate themselves. So to us, we see that they are supporting us to raise awareness in the communities. Another lesson learned, we said that we provide access to justice, but we also provide support beyond the justice. We look the person in a woman or a girl in holistic. For example, we realize that some GBV, they are caused because of financial problems. So if we empower these women, they can defend themselves. They can become empowered. So we empower them by linking them to VSL, or to join the VSL, or support them to support or teach them how to make manure using to make fertilizer using manure, so that they can have enough food at their homes. Our clients are coached to build confidence and remove fears on them. This is done why sometimes people, when they hear about the police court, they always fear to go there. So we don't give them answers, but we coach, we groom them, so that when they reach in other service provider, they can express the case with confidence. Interface meetings should be done frequently with duty bearers to promote zero corruption. Why? Because we bring them together to answer some things. So through frequent meetings, I think we can promote the zero corruption. When the cases, when we have a case which is crucial for us, we always involve the media, so that the case should become interest of public. Let's see recommendations. We have seen the challenges, lesson learned. Our recommendations, we needed to train more paralegals, the community-based paralegals that handle the case at the community level. Conduct the refresher course, link us with other donors to support legal literacy, because we complain about the funding. So maybe you can link us with other legal literacy supporters. Establishment of sustainable IGAs. We don't have any permanent source of income or funding, so we depend some other donors to give us. So sometimes we find that we are working, but we don't have any funding from any donor. So it becomes a challenge for us. Access government project fund. We understand that we have some projects, some government projects. Us as Jigula Maembe, we want to access those project funds. Government should involve us at the national level through their legal conferences. Maybe when there is legal conferences, they need to consider the CBOs or NGOs who are, which are at community level, so that they can also learn different things. On pictorial, we can see engagement of chiefs on picture 1, 2. These are chiefs from Lumpi, and the man with a microphone is a paramount chief Chikula Maembe. training on leadership, you can see women in a circle, and our director is Tuonge, who is at the center. Down it's the awareness meeting. Training on fermentation, manure making. Women, members from Chikula Maembe demanding funds from council. And some men we are seeing there, they are representatives from council, and another one is the Paramount Chief Chikula Maembe. And down there, it's Blandina, a beneficiary of land rights. Well, the safe place, the safe haven, we were talking about, it's that building. Down there, it's a case conference in progress. On top, there are members showing evidence paper of land that now they are owning the land. Down, it's women commemoration of International Day of Women. Thank you, Daonga Shomeni.
Thank you so much, Chikula Maembe Women Forum, Taonga Chomene, Nchindi Zukumwenelani. Yeah, quite a number of issues that have been raised there. And my biggest pick, I think, is also what they are doing to confront patriarchy, especially on land ownership, where culturally, because you're a woman, you cannot own land. The expectation is that you get married. But even when you get married, where you go to, they will say you have your home. Therefore, you can't even inherit the land that actually belongs to your husband. So either way, women are facing a double tragedy. And glad that this organization is actually working to confront patriarchy. It's they are working to improve women access to land, which is quite sticky, especially in places such as Rumpi and indeed Chikula Maembe area, where government also has been implementing the one of the land reform program, registration of customer land based on the 2016 land laws that were enacted that time. So kungofotokozapo kuti bungwe limene lili kugwira ntchito zambiri zosiyanasiyana mdera Chikula Maembe, mfumu yakulu Chikula Maembe kurumpi, zina mwa izo kupatula kupititsa patsogolo kuti pazikhala mwayo ofanana pachilichonse pakati pa amayi ndi abambo. Nkhani ina yogwiranso mtima imene akugwira ndi kulimbikitsa amayi kuti akhalenso ndi ufulu opeza malo, chifukwa pachikhalidwe amati amayi sakuyenera kukhala ndi malo. Nthawi zonse chikhalidwe chimanena kuti aya adzakwatiwa, komanso akakwatiwa amati muli mkwanu inu, ndiye zimakhala ngati madera onse amayi sakhala ndi mwayi opeza malo. Koma taona ndithu mboni kudzera mbungwe limeneli kuti amayi ena mapepala kutanthauza kuti malo aja ayamba kuwapeza, ngakhale anafotokoza chilengero chochepa komabe ayamba bwino, ntchito ikugwirika. Moving on with our program, we invite our next speaker, and I hope in the interest of time, you may wish to be to stick to the 15 minutes that has been allocated. Mungu gwira ndi nthawi kuti mwina amene atilankhule tsopano mungu gwira nabe ndi nthawi ya 15 minutes imene yaperekedwa. Ndikukhulupirira zokamba zikhoza kukhalapo zochuluka, komabe tipitirizabe kukambirana. The conversation doesn't end here. We'll keep engaging beyond the 15 minutes that has been allocated. Let me invite a representative from the Timtendere Foundation. Ngatina ati now, amena kuimira Timtendere Foundation. You're welcome. Yeah, a big hand. I can't see the hand somewhere there. Yes. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. I would just like to say a very big thank you to Alan Moya from Barefoot Law and the Gender, Justice and Justice Unit. So, Team Tender Foundation, to begin with. Team Tender Foundation, first of all, believes in hope and growth. As you can see, we identify ourselves by a tree. We also believe that solving a problem is not about what you see that it bears, but going to the grassroots of the problem. Team Tender Foundation is a youth organization that works with young people to empower and civic educate young people living in the streets and communities on human rights and equip them with different skills through music, dance, and vocational skills. Our mission is to transform the experience of a gifted African child by forming a functional culture and art community to support and enrich their gifts and human rights. We have a couple of objectives, and one of them is a resource-based education and empowerment of children with unique skills and talents. So our main focus is only to work with those kids and those young people that have a special talent, a unique skill, and are gifted. The second one is embarking on content creation as a way of offering civic education to different communities through different topics that affect the nation, particularly the youth. As I said previously, we are an organization that is basically in arts and entertainment. Mostly our job is to create content that civic educate the community and the communities around us on the issues and the problems that are affecting our communities. The next one is to simplify and interpret the law in communities. You'd agree with me that the constitutions that we have and the law that we have is formulated in languages that cannot easily be understood. Even the constitution itself. If we were to say the constitution 65 of the Malawian what, how many people would understand that in communities? You'd see that not a lot of people would understand that. So our overall goal is to simplify and interpret the law in the communities in the most simplest way we can. Another way is to give hope and a sense of identity and purpose to individuals and communities. We also equip the youth with vocational skills in various fields and provide training, promote the tourism industry through culture and art, educate youth on health, sanitation, and sexual harassment issues, and lastly, to provide shelter for the homeless. Let's take a little bit back to where the project started. The project started in 2019. The idea came with street kids. In Blantyre, we have a problem. We have street kids in the streets. And we often hear the news, street kids are harassing citizens of Malawi. Street kids are doing this. What I did, was to mobilize street kids, 10 in 2019, put them together, use dance as a mobilizing tool as an activity. That is the only thing we did back then, nothing else. As you can see, these are 10 kids that are street kids in Blantyre. In 2019, when we rehabilitated them together, if you know Blantyre very well, this is just behind Blantyre Sports Club. This is where we used to meet. And that's just a small clip to show you what we used to do back then with the street kids. And at that time, what we were only able to do is to dance and provide at least a meal. And the meals were not coming from funders, but were coming from my friends around me who saw what I was doing and had the passion to help. And with the little they had, they added on to it and were able to put the project together. In 2020, this happened. Unfortunately, COVID came. Now it was a disaster. It was difficult to continue the project. We had to put a pause. The whole of 2020, the project was put to pause, and there was nothing we could do. But afterwards, see what happened. We put the project back together. In 2022, I had the privilege to leave the country to attend more skills. As I said, as you have seen, this is a project in the arts and entertainment. I had the privilege to intervene, to communicate, to be with other communities in different countries, to learn from them, to see how they were using arts, culture, music, and entertainment to change lives, to see things differently and to evolve. When I came back home, I put this project back together. Please pause it for a while. We're just going to watch just a small video of the activities that we do. So please, just a few moments. Please play video.
So polenga zonazo kuti munthu wakuphwanyira ufulu pa chinthu china chake olo wazionazo kuti chinthu ichi chisina machizo poyamba koma no munthu amakupangira wachizonazo kuti pakupanga kwa munthu amakuphwanyira ufulu so ndi ufulu amuza munthu chonazo kuti pa chinthu chomwe kupangachi ukundiphwanyira ufulu olo kwauza anthu ena amene akuzungulirani pamalo amene mulipo
nkhani za ufuluzi zokuti ineyo azisikani pande kaso ndazo zoti ndi ufulu umene olo wanga khale mnthu wankulu kundikakamiza zoti ndigonane naye ndikhoza kukana komanso ndi ufulu umene ndikhoza nane kuima pande khandi kupanga chinthu chodalira chokuti dziko lapansi anthu kuona
eneyo pajambi sindinkazi wa maufulu aine koma after kundiphunzitsa za maufuluzi ndinaziwa zoti naneso ndini maufulu amene ena ndimatha kuphwanyiridwaso ndi makolo komanso ndazenzaka mwachidule ngati ineyo vina kunoko naphwanyidwa pofuna kuti sindimatha kuyankhula kunena chimenenso ndikufuna koma after kuziwa maufulu aineyo ndinaziwa zokuti naneso ndili ndi ufulu onena chimene ndikufuna kupanga ndi chimene ndikufuna ndizakhale
kuti munthu akukwenye eti wakukwenye mene andikwenyera kwamba konazo kuti ufuna nopanga solo munthu siye ungapanga modani so walona sanjeli chonchi walone soli mabwela apa apo zone apo one so limene ngati chonchi apa sanjeli chonchi umaza kumaniza umampinda munthu ukampinda umakhala ndi ufulu mpangana kalikosi ukaza kumika ebo ukaza kummenya stozi as I said so let's do it in fast. So, abe, but do
Ati lililonse limaonetsetsa kuti mwana wake aende mukhalidwe wabwino. Ngati iye akukumana ndi nkhanza amayenera abe kumasukirana ndi mayi wake kapena ndi bambo wake kulongosola kunda kumana zakuti zakuti. Ndiye pamene wakumana nazo yebe amayankhula kwa makolo wake. Makolo ake nkumuthandiza. Ndi uthenga umene tingapereke kwa anthu ena kuti koma ufulu ndi ofunika chifukwa ulo mwana amafunikira ufulu wake osamphwanyira ufulu. Kuonanso nkhanza zikuchitika umathanso kutani kuyenda kuti koma zimene zikuchitika ndi ufulu sizikugwiriza.
Thank you so much for taking your time in watching that video. As you can see, those are the activities that our organization does. We civic educate young people in communities about human rights. You have also seen that we do self-defense exercises, especially to women and also young boys. We haven't segregated the boys because we believe that young boys also form abuse, and we cannot neglect that in human rights. As you can also see that we storytell. We are artists, so every person you see in that video has some form of talent. We believe that we can tell stories and we can impact and reach out to the world using the gifts and talents that we have. Most importantly, we can spread awareness, we can communicate, we can educate, we can simplify, as said. Moving on, we have achievements that we have had. From 2022 to 2023, our youngest child in our group is 7 years old. And that's the little small boy you see on stage. As we're saying, we're performing artists, so our job, basically on the side, aside from teaching, educating, having activities on the ground, as one way of income generating skills, sustainable income generating skills, is for us to teach, dance, perform, so that the kids can earn something, so that the kids can be able to acquire and have something at the end of the day. We have a lot of challenges and problems when we're doing our projects and encountering our daily day-to-day lives. Most of these kids have single parents. Most of these kids meet abuse. They are denied the right to education, the right to proper health, the right to attend food, and so much more that happens within the community. Now, one of the things that we do is when we go out, we perform. When we make the money, we pay school fees for these young people using the small money that we make. Every time we have business with artists, as you can see, I think by now our group has performed with every artist in Malawi, every well-known artist. That is Zeze, we talk of Kelly Kay, we talk of Saint, almost big artists that you know, our group has been able to perform and have at least, which is so inspiring for them, because when they're doing these artistic activities, one of the things that they want is to be on stage, to be seen, to feel that they are being recognized. So what we do, another thing that we do, as you can see, we also do recreation activities. We believe these are kids, we're working with kids. So we don't want them to feel bored all the time. When we can and when we have the resources, or let's say when we make a very big gig, we go on recreation trips. And that's why you see that small picture on the side of the kids in the swimming pool. The other picture that is on the side is their first time ever in a dance studio. As you have seen throughout the whole video, you've seen that these kids are working on the ground. They have never, so most of them don't even have sports shoes. Most of them train barefoot. They have never been to a dance studio before. They have never seen all this kind. And that was the very first time they stepped into a proper dance studio and were trained in dance in the right way, and we took that picture. The other one is a program, a television program, an interview that we had, and we had to shoot, and that's another achievement that we had. With this, please, as they said, we should keep time, and please allow me to close with the remarks and say thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. You see a lot of energy from you. No wonder that also a team of artists delivering the message in a simple way I know you've spoken about quite a number of things, and my pick is simplifying matters. There are times when you feel like the law is not for the people, but it's for lawyers. So as soon as you simplify it, it becomes easier for everybody. It's not easy, from a layman, and you begin to think about all these jargons, disclosures, and then you get to know about, section 45, subsection B. Yeah. So when you make these things simple, it also becomes very easy. It should be a day before yesterday, we were in this very room, one of the partners of Barefoot Law, and that is the Gender and Justice Unit. They were actually launching a booklet in collaboration with Media Council of Malawi to make it easy for the journalists to understand legal terms. So if they're making it easy for the journalists, what about communities at large? So thank you so much for matters. The law must become to the people. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to invite our next speaker. And this is Lamek Kiale from Youth Response for Social Change. A big hand to Lamek Kiale. I think now we seem to be gender sensitive from the rest of the presenters. They were all female. Now I'm glad to see somebody representing my gender. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for providing this space so that we can share what we do at Youth Response. Really appreciate. Yeah, I was already indicated that I'm Lamek Kiare. I work with Youth Response. Youth Response is located in Machinga, remotest part of Machinga, bordering with Mozambique. So since 2010, the organization is much focusing on girls, women, and the youth. Technology. Yeah, so Youth Response, it's a youth-led organization. Our programming relates to good governance, gender-based violence, education, sexual reproductive health and rights, and improve socioeconomic status for youth through their capacity building, awareness raising, with adoption innovative ideas and strategic communication. We recognize that the opportunity of young people has to be enhanced so that they can voice out. Yeah, so the organization has vision, mission, and theory of change. Our vision is to make sure that every girl, every woman, every youth feels safe, accounted for, and empowered. Our mission is to make sure that there is unleash the social and economic leadership of girls, women, and youth through human-centered approach. Our theory of change, we make sure that there is innovative thinking within our community, despite that we are in the remotest area, but we feel that we need to think first. And when we think, we need to engage beneficiaries that we work with, that's young people themselves, youth, and the other stakeholders within our community, so that we can come together and try to map the way forward on how we can support our communities, how we can challenge some issues that are hindering the opportunities within our communities. Thereafter, after doing this, we make sure that our intervention are implemented so that we can see tangible impact at the end of the day. Can someone assist us? Okay. Yeah, the organization much focusing on child marriage. As you recall that even the national statistics, Machinga is registering high number of child marriages. So the organization is focusing child marriages. Now we feel that some of these issues should be addressed by ourselves in the community. So through local works, the organization identify child marriages as one of the key issues that affects young people in the district. To address these issues, sorry. Yeah, so to address the child marriage issues, we are implementing a project that we call Social Transformation for Ending Child Marriage. The goal of the activity is to create and energize a movement of young people in our district so that they can challenge issues of child marriage. To achieve this goal, we are promoting a mindset change that to transform the culture and the attitudes of some gatekeepers and the social members, including parents, traditional leaders, so that we can transform the thinking itself to make sure that norms that promote child marriages has been eliminated or reduced. For us to achieve this, we feel that we need to engage the young people themselves. We managed to create a hub of 200 youth. The idea is that they should meet to discuss various issues that concern particularly access to justice and child marriage that is rampant in our district. Why child marriage in Machinga? Should be a lot, but there is some few that are increasing issues of child marriage. Girls in our community are considered to be commodities with the aim of growing their clan, popularly known as Mbumba and Chichewa in local context. And also issues of bylaws, laws. When I talk of laws, that's constitution and among other policies are not enforced. Even at community level, bylaws are not enforced by our traditional leaders. Even parents themselves, they think marrying a girl, even in parents themselves, I think marriage will protect girls from violence, particularly in issues of disaster. For example, this year we had a Cyclone Freddy. There was a lot of issues moving from point A to point B, increasing of girls being married so that at least they can get some kind of support. And this is the thinking that parents are having in our community. And young girls, people feel that considered to be obedient. Yeah. Also, we feel that there is also inequality between boys and girls. Boys are considered to be any area, any mbumba, menata kukhala kuti they can grab that opportunity kusiyana ndi atsikanaja. At the end of the day, you find that atsikanaja, they are not grabbing that opportunity. They can go to school, complete their education. For us as organization, we manage that we need also to support. We manage to train child marriage cases collection group that are going within the community to identify child marriages, make sure that they report, they refer to other critical community areas that are supporting. For example, victim support units, police, traditional leaders, among others. We also manage to provide some kind of support to this, what we call mobile courts. We facilitated that process that mobile courts should reach in the remotest area so that the people should access to justice. We also, as already indicated, we managed to establish a hub of young people. That's the number 200, so that they can go within the community and be able to reach their fellow youth. Also, we managed to mobilize chiefs that they can be on forefront in the fight against child marriages. Also, we conduct a series of community awareness that to do with child marriages and human trafficking. Since we are in the remotest area and we are bordering with Mozambique, some cases of child marriages tend to be, perpetrators of child marriage tend to run to Mozambique. Even apart from that, since it's a bordering community, some girls are being trafficked to Mozambique where they work in tobacco farms. So we feel that we can come in and facilitate the process together with the police. So far, with our intervention together with communities and other stakeholders, we have managed to reduce or to rescue 123 child marriages. Out of this figure, 79 girls have been rolled back to school and connected with mother groups, teachers, among others within school, so that there is a conducive environment. Through referral pathways on access to justice, 45 youth, you can see the figure, 27 female, 18 male, who were trafficked to Mozambique so that they can be working in tobacco farms, were rescued. 14 traffickers were arrested and jailed in collaboration with police and courts. Out of these 45 figures, 45 people, 24 were girls. Through the support, these girls now are going back to school. A pool of trained case collectors have been set up in the community to conduct, to document and collect and refer cases of human trafficking to victim support unit and courts for fast prosecution. 11 youth have been incorporated into district monitoring committees so that there is a meaningful youth participation. Young people should voice out their concern, among others. We have also some challenges. There is still increased number of teenage pregnancies and child marriages. There is high number of human trafficking activities happening within our communities. There is also increased withdrawal of gender-based violence cases due to long distance to access courts. Bylaws are not enforced. Laws are not enforced. Any policies are not enforced. This is also a hiccup on issues of access to justice and child marriages. There is also increased school dropouts among girls in our community. We have future plans. We anticipate to increase awareness so that we can continue fighting cases of child marriages, cases of human trafficking, cases of injustice, among others. We want to use mobile courts to deliver quality access to services in tackling violence against human and girl to enhance long-term recovery of violence among girls. We want also to petition a decision maker, especially at traditional level, we want to petition Paramount Chief Kawinga of Machinga so that they can enforce bylaws that are being established in collaboration with district officials so that they can be enforced to curb issues of child marriages, to curb issues of injustice within our community. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it for your attention. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lamek Yale from Youth Response for Social Change. The youth are also taking part to promote this in our community. And one of the issues that you've highlighted is about child marriages. Akambapo ndithu kuti kumachinga kumene akugwira ntchito nkhani yoti ana amatha kukwatiwa adakali achichepere ndi nkhani imodzi imene ikukhala ngati ikuvutanso kumeneko, komabe iwo akuchita chotheka kuti anthu akhale ndi uthenga adziwe kuti kutero nkulakwika. Ndiye tikuthokozeni kwambiri pa ntchito imene mukugwira. It's not a simple subject matter, but it's something that has to be dealt with, especially when you're dealing with, deep-seated cultural beliefs. And the question comes to you, whose child is this? My child and not the child of the government. So mine has to get married. So, as long as it's an injustice, it's unlawful, it's something that has to be confronted. But then we need the community buy-in. People have to understand, because not everything can be reported to institutions like yours, but where people have information, they would know and prevent it even before it happens. So thank you so much for that. And I know we'll proceed with our program. We'll have a very brief panel discussion just to hear from the four presenters. And there'll be a few questions to you, our presenters, for the audience, indeed, just to appreciate some of the things that you're doing. Tibwera utsogolo anthu follow aja ndi kukambira ziwiri zitatu kuti anthu afunsenso mafunso pa ntchito imene mukugwira. Komano padali pano ndiye timati mwina tisanapitirire, there is actually tea. Now we can have a tea break. And after tea break, we have some activities before lunch break, before we have lunch. Apologies if you're overwhelmed, but there is tea. It will also be a working kind of breakfast. I know the guest of honor is kind of surprised that we seem to have more breaks equaling the number of presentations, but don't mind, guest of honor. So there is tea here, and then we'll start again the program in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Tipitirire ndi mwambo wathu ndikudziwa kuti mwina ena sinamalize kwenikweni. I would like to invite representatives of the four groups nthumwi zochokera ku magulu amene amatifotokozera zimene akuchita. Nthumwi yochokera ku Hub 22, a representative from Hub 22 should come in front and take one of the seats. Hub 22 takulandirani. Komanso akuchikula Mayembe Women Forum, nthumwi akuchikula Mayembe Women Forum, mubwereso kutsogolo and take one of the seats. Tilandireso the Team Tendere Foundation, mutabweraso kutsogolo, may you come in front and take one of the seats. Kenaka Youth Response for Social Change, Lamek Yale, mubwereso kutsogolo. Mutokala baba mwangu, mutokala. Yeah. Ziko mkwambiri. Just to bear in mind that we have an online audience that is following the discussion today here at Sunbed Capital Hotel, Mlanje Room, where the discussion really is about Malawi Justice Innovator Recognition Workshop. We are recognizing innovation that is improving access to justice. And of course, we are live, and for those that are following, we are happy that you have joined us. Kungo kulandrana amene mukutitsatira pa online kuti takulandrani kuzochitika za bzalero, ndipo nkhani ili pano ndi kukambirana kupititsa patsogolo nkhani ya chilungamo, ndipo wali kutsogoloko ndi nthumwi za mabungwe osiyanasiyana amene akugwira ntchito yotamandika. Ndiye fotokoza nkhani zawo, ndiye tipati mwina nkuperekano mwayi wa mafunso, pali mafunso awiri atatu, tiperekanso mwayi kwa anthu amene tinawo konkuno ku Mlanje Room Capital Hotel kuti nanunso mfunse mafunso. I'll give an opportunity to the audience, to ask a question based on the presentations that these representatives have made. Ndino maso kufotokoza nchichewa, ndino maso kupatiza chichewa ndi chizungu, penapo tizi masulira. Ndiye makamaka tamva nkhani zanu zonse, muna makene ndikhalenga ndamba kutsogola zokambirana. Tamva nkhani zanu zonse. Ndimafuna kwambiri ndiyambe ndi gulu la Habu 20 kuti akuyimira Habu 22 ndanjo yangu. Ndiye ndiupemphani beni kuti mwina mukamayankhula muti fotokozerabe ziwiri zitatu. Ndine wakuti ndikuyimira gulu lakuti kuti anthu adziwe bungwe limene mukuyimira. Makamaka inoyo ntchito imene mukugwira ntchito mtawuni, ndipo munafotokoza kuti nthawi zina pamakhala anthu ena amene awachitira nkhanza, makandi ana kandi amayi, mukuti mumatha kuwathandiza, pali malo amene mumatha kuwasunga ndi kumathandiza kugwiritsa ntchito ndalama zanu, mumakwanitsa motani ndipo zimakhala motani pochitira kuti mwina mavuto akhoza kukhala ochuluka kuposera msinkhu wanu kapena ndalama zimene mungakhale nazo. Zikomo kwambiri.
Ineyo ndine Frose Simango amene ndikuyimira Habu 22 Obo, moyo wathu matupi athu. Pankhani ya nkhanza, ma issues amene amachitika ngati muno mtawuni, tikapita nawo ku polisi ndi area 36 ndi pafupi kuchokera mu area 22. Pamene kupita ku chipatala ku Sento kapena ku Bottom, timayenda kugwisa ntchito transport. Ife timapanga ma VSL ku Habu 22 ko, komanso timapanga ma business ting'ono, ndalama imene timatha kumasonkherana, ndalama imene timatha kugwisa ntchito kupita ngati kupitira ma transport ngakhale kudya, mwina timapezeka kuti timakhala the whole day tili ku chipatala. Komanso pakakhala ngati ma issues ku court, timatha kuyuza so transport ndalama yomweyo kupita ndi ma victims amene tupita nawo ku court. Famapezeka kuti anthu ena amapezeka kuti alibe olo china chilichonse. Komanso timapezeka onena kuti ku court kuja timatha kuyenda maulendo ambirimbiri, mwina munthu uja anathamangitsidwa pa ukwati kapena anagwiridwa ndeno mwina kuchita manyazi amatha kupita ku mudzi kwawo. Kuti achoka ku mudzi kwawo kuja kuti abwereso muno mtown, timagwisa ntchito transport. Komanso timatha kumapemphetsaso apolisi amatha kutithandiza, mwina so social welfare, mwina so Minister of Gender amatha kutipatsa ka transport pang'ono pokha, koma simakhala yokwanira. Komane chimene chimatimvetsa chisoni chonena kuti makhala ma cases ena onena kuti like ngati mwana wagwiriridwe ndi mzibambo, azibambo amatha kutenga ma lawyers pamene ife sitingathe kukwanitsa kutenga lawyer, zimenezo timativuta kwambiri. Komanso mwana ogwiridwa jesangapikisane ndi lawyer kuyankhula mu court, apezeka kuti nkhani jamwina yatani yopezeka kuti yangothera mmalere. Ma cases amene ndi akuchitika kwambiri makamaka ngati ku midzi. Mtawuni muno ndi pang'ono koma midzi azinzati mandana kuti mahabu alipo ambiri m'Malawi muno. Zimenezo ndi kunchinji zikuchitika kwambiri, kuti ma cases ogwiririra akumapezeka kuti ogwiririra uja wawina chifukwa akugwisa ntchito lawyer. Ife ngati azimayi tikumamva chisoni.
Chabwino tipitirizabe ndi nkhani imene tikukamba pano, just to give benefit to our online audience and those that may not understand. Chichewa, the question is how do they support victims of gender-based violence? It could be defilement, rape. In her presentation she indicated that they use their personal money, and the question was personal money from where? So she said as a group they do different businesses, and they also do what is called village savings loans to just just to support the victims to take them from whichever place to police. They would need transport. It could also be to the hospital as well. They use personal resources. But even when they use personal resources, the big challenge is that sometimes the perpetrator may have the financial muscle and hire a lawyer. The victim may not. And that already puts them at a disadvantage. And that is one of the challenges they are facing, in as much as they are able to contribute. So we'll continue with this conversation on this particular issue. Just take note of the issues, and you can raise your question at some point. We move on to Chikula Mayembe Women's Group. Several issues were raised. How chiefs are, how resistance from chiefs is one of the challenges, especially when it comes to issues of land ownership. Do you still have some good examples of chiefs that have become part of the part of your movement? And is that really helping in terms of changing the mindset? Mafumu mugafi amene munafikirawo alipo ena amene akumvetsetsa ntchito amene mukugwira ndipo akuthandizani chitsanzo chikhale chotani pa mafumu otero. You're free to respond in Chichewa as well as in English. Thank you so much.
My name is Rebecca Namwela Luhanga from...
just take the microphone very close to your mouth, yes.
My name is Rebecca Namwela Luhanga from Lumpi, from Chikula Mayembe Women Forum. Yes, we have seen changes. For example, the whole Paramount Chief Chikula Mayembe, the one supporting this thing, because promised as a forum that all issues related to land should be handled to his. So when we have issues of land, we refer the case to the Paramount so that the justice should be done.
Yeah. Before I move away from you, I know that the Paramount Chief is the most senior chief in your area, but he cannot handle everything. Do we still have some chiefs below him who are also changing the narrative or are becoming change agents?
Yeah. If you remember on my presentation, there was a picture. There was a senior chief Chikula Mayembe, then other the engagement of other the group village headmen involved in this issue of land, promoting that women have access to land. So it's like a model. The whole Paramount is a model. So when it comes to the GVH or VH, so they think about if the senior chief hear about this issue, that maybe I'm denying this access to land, not promoting women to access the land in my village, maybe the chief can demote my position. So a lot of chiefs are involved in this.
Thank you so much, Rebecca Luhanga from Chikula Mayembe Women Forum. Just to benefit our audience online, you could be in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Zambia, and the rest of in the rest of the world. When we talk about the Paramount Chief is the most high authority in terms of traditional leadership, and of course she was talking about GVH, that means Group Village Head. These are subordinate chiefs, and Village Head, these are subordinate chiefs. What is good about your intervention is that there is a buy-in from the top, meaning the chiefs lower than the Paramount are also likely to follow suit, because from the top there is that kind of acceptance. So we'll continue the conversation. Akuti amfumu akulu a Chikula Mayembe ndi amene akutsogolera anachimvetsa atawapeza bungwe limeneli, ndipo iwo ali pakalikili kuonetsetsa kuti mafumu amene ali pansi pa iwowa nawonso akutsatira malamulo kapena zimene zilizoyenera kuchita pa nkhani yoti amayi nawonso azikhala ndi ufulu chimodzimodzi abambo, posatengera chikhalidwe. And I know I'll come back to youth response, but let me get to Team Tendere. There is something that you talked about, rehabilitation. So you will have provided rehabilitation to some of the young people, and indeed they will have divorced themselves from the past and have become sort of a new creation, if you allow me to use that particular word. How do you deal with the issue of stigma that may come even after rehabilitation?
Thank you very much. My name is Diwongi Angela Banda, and I am coming from Team Tendere Foundation. It is a very challenging issue, per se, because the first thing is we're working with young people that are in the ghetto community. Secondly, they are very, very vulnerable to any kind of challenge that comes their way. Thirdly, that is kind of a norm to them. That is their way of life. So because it is already a norm to them, it is very difficult for them to think otherwise. So when we rehabilitate them, and then we bring them back and they become a part of us, what we basically do is we have partnered with an organization called Young Life, where they learn other activities that they, in terms of spiritually, so it is a religious organization. So we believe in God, and we believe that as part of human transformation, one has to also change spiritually. That is part of the change that happens. So when we partner with this organization, there are some of the activities that happen that sort of brings them to light, and a change of mindset. Some of the activities that happen, recreation activities that involve them partnering up with other kids that are not from the same audience as they are. So when they have partnered up with other young people who are not from the same audience as they are, they sort of see life in a different way and see, oh, so this is how other kids live. I'll give you an example. If you saw in the video, we sort of brought kids together from different communities. Street kids and ghetto community kids are different kids. When the street kids saw the ghetto community kids, for them it was like, wow, I want to be like this one. But the ghetto community kid is like, I'm nothing. So now we are bringing two people together who are coming from almost similar backgrounds, but the other one is on the street, the other one is in the community. But each one of them is having a better life than the other. So when the street kids see the ghetto community kids, it sort of brings a collaboration together, because we bring them together so they can learn from each other. So that's what we basically do.
Thank you so much. Timafusa unena kuti pala nyamata ena pale ana ena amene ndithu amatha kugwira nawo ntchito kuwathandiza kuwaunikira ena ndongoyendayenda munsewu. Kuti amenewa mukathandiza kuti asinthe zimakhalano bwanji, samakhala ndi chitonzo ndakufotokoza kuti iwowo sagwira ntchito okha, palinso mabungwe ena amene amagwira nawo ntchito makamaka achipembedzo kuwathandizira anawa kuti akhalebe osinthika mu chilichonse, komanso amabweretsa iwowa limodzi ndi ana ochokera m'midzi kuti azitha pasamakhale kusiyana, asamaone mwachilendo. That's a conversation that I think we'll come back to that in terms of what more you're doing. Let me go to youth response for social change, Lamek Kiare. In your presentation, you so well connected to what guest of honor, Madam Skada Louis, said in a keynote address. She talked about challenges in access of justice, and one of the issues was geographical, financial, and other challenges. But the issue that you talked about innovation to mobile court system, using innovation or indeed using technology so that the court is closer to the people. Perhaps you may wish to elaborate more in terms of what you would want to see, or what you have done, or what you would propose to be done, so that there is improvement access to court using technology. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate. I was already indicated that mobile courts is a viable idea, that if we want to promote access to justice, we need to increase access to justice using mobile courts. So for action, youth response for social change, it's breaking, I don't know. What we do is to facilitate the process. as your organization, we work with courts in our community, but when they feel that there is a case to be tackled, they reach out to us, and we provide some kind of support in terms of making sure that there is transportation, there is any support that we can provide at that particular time. We make sure also that the support that we provide, we follow up using our own innovative idea. Like we created a WhatsApp group where young people, they are able to connect, able to link, able to share, able to report, able to refer any case. So these young people, they make sure that they follow up the whole process, support that is being provided to court, the case that is being handled, the outcome of the case, and the next step that should be provided. And the idea is to make sure that everyone within the community know that there is laws that can be followed to tackle issues of injustice. So that's what we do. The support is coming from our organization. As an organization, we have an IGA that we do where we generate a pool of resources. I should mention, the support is coming from the organization because we mobilize the whole community that during the harvest time, each and every community, for example, chieftains, should provide 1 bag of maize. And looking at our area, we have more than 165 chiefs. And every chief provided 1 bag of maize, and that maize is being sold. Like this time around, they're being sold. And the resources are putting forward to facilitate mobile courts, even to go beyond supporting girls that are returned back to school. That's what we do to make sure that mobile courts, services of to do with mobile courts, access to justice are being supported in our community. Thank you so much.
Chabwino akuti kumena kuchokera kuli mafumu 165 ndipo ntchito ya kuti ziyenda bwino pafunika makobiri amene wapeza kuti akuti mfumu iliyonse imapereka thumba limodzi la chimanga chija chimagulitsidwa. Ndiyo tikamba za mafumu 165 tikamba za matumba 165 ndalama zomwezo zimene zimathandizira kuti anthu achinyamata azitha kufikira makhoti. Ndiye ndunena kuti ndi mudzi umene ndithu kutengapo mbali kuti nkhani ya chilungamo ipite patsogolo. Komanso akuti kwa amene ali nkuthekera kukhala ndi mafoni mwina ma WhatsApp mmene muja amagawananso uthenga okhuza nkhani zokhuza chilungamo. Timvabe nkhani zochulukirapo. We'll still get back to you at some point. Before that, I think I would want to hear from the audience and indeed those following online. If you have any question, comment, you can actually drop your message online. Not just questions, but if you have a comment, you are also welcome. Let me give an opportunity to members of the audience to fire, or rather, a diplomatic language, to ask a question, not to fire. Yeah. Anyone from the audience? Ena amene ndi mafunso momuno. Aha, chabwino. Timve mutiuza dzina komanso mwina kumene mukuchokera kena kafunso.
Dzina langa ndine Stella Nkonya, ndachokera ku Human Rights of Women and Girls with Disabilities. Ndufunsa nonseno woko chifukwa sinamvepo how inclusive your programs are with regards to women and girls with disabilities. Thank you. Zina langa ndine Stella Nkonya. I come from an organization that advocates for women and girls with disabilities rights. Then ndikufunsa kuti muliko foro, I just wanted to find out how inclusive your programs are with regards to access to justice on women and girls with disabilities. For sinamvepo za disability pena paliponse. And if at all you have those programs, can you please help us and elaborate how you help them in the referral pathway? Thank you.
Mulipo foro, sinamvepo mukambapo issues to do with disability. Inclusivity is the language. Leave no one behind. we must focus on all in caps according to the guest of honor. Ndiye tiambire pati pamenepa, tiambire pamenepo kenaka mpaka kumapeto. Yankho lizikhala mwachidule, straight to the point. Thank you.
Zikoma kwambiri mjanina nene napomaliza unena kuti ife ngati ahabu 22 ina akhaona kuti matipatsa tsiku lonse la thunthu tinakafotokoza zimene timachita. Ifeyo timagwira ntchito ndi azimayi otakataka, mapeyo HIV, a disability, komanso ma sex workers, ngakhalenso aulumala amene anabadwa ndi ziwalo ziwiri timagwira nawo ntchito. Ndefe sitinasiye kunja anthu amene wawa timagwira nawo ntchito.
We work with everybody and we are inclusive. Issues of disability are equal at the center of our focus. If only we had given us so much time, like the whole day, we would tell you exactly what we do. And we also have special focus on people born with intersex. Team Vesokwaena.
Thank you very much for your question. As Chikula Maempe, sorry that in the presentation it was silent issues about inclusion, but we work with them. For example, we always say we work with other partners, and one of other partners in Rumpi, it's Fedoma, as well as Makoha. We work hand in hand with them so that the issues of disabilities are addressed. Thank you.
Akufotokoza kunena kuti ifeso timagwira ntchito posayang'anira wina aliyense, ndipo timagwiranso ntchito ndi mabungwe monga Fedoma komanso Makoha, kuti wina aliyense tikhale tili limodzi, pasakhale wina aliyense amene akutsalira, akutero kuchokera ku Chikula Maembe Women's Group.
Yeah, Lamix Kiare, to concur with my colleagues that indeed we work together with any person that needs support without looking the appearance, what have you. Youth response for social change, as in our presentation, that 5 girls were rescued from child marriages. Out of this figure, I have my colleague here. 21 girls what is the appropriate name that we can make it? What the one that you mentioned that we need to how we program our how we do our programming with women with disability. Those girls with disability are being supported with a pool of resources that I mentioned earlier on from the communities in terms of providing their school fees, providing a conducive environment at the school, linking them with mother groups so that they provide ongoing mentorship, counseling within the school environment. So indeed, each and every programming, innovatively, we make sure that we include all our own needs, all people who need support in our community, who need support in our intervention, who need support in our implementation. So we work together. And also my colleague mentioned of the grouping itself at district level. We also work with other grouping at matching at district level, that we make sure that all issues of disability are involved in our programming. Thank you so much.
Team Tender Foundation is inclusive with persons with disability, just that our activities are not in-house, rather out-house. We work with BedCure and Zati House, which has just recently opened. BedCure, as we know in Blantyre, is a youth and child-friendly hospital that takes care of kids that are born with different disabilities. And one of the activities that we do there is to provide dance and music as part of the therapy session in their programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. So it's actually a reminder to us all that when we're responding to questions and making presentations, we must equally be inclusive. There's a question here.
Thank you, MC. I think you do a fantastic job. My question is you have mentioned some innovation, but I think I've heard only one of you, this gentleman from Youth Response for Social Change, talking about modern technology. You mentioned you developed a WhatsApp group. So I would like to ask you, have you tried modern technologies? If so, what is it? What challenges you see working with modern technologies, and what are the solutions to overcome those challenges, so maybe others can also learn from you? Thank you.
I know you are holding the mic, so the first bullet comes to you. You may begin to address that question in terms of technology.
Okay, for us, I think technology is the major thing because we're doing arts and entertainment, and our form is media all the time. Our faces are usually on cameras. So I would say that in regards to that, yes, we are civic educating using technology, and our social presence is very high. So, but the only challenges that I would say we have is that we're working with communities that are do not really have the access to these technologies that we have. Because if we would take average out of 100, maybe only 3 young people would have a smartphone. Or maybe even older parents, even their parents themselves, do not have access to this. Most of them use the small telephone for just communication. I don't know if I have answered your question, but I think I would like to answer it that way.
Yeah, before you leave the microphone, I think if we were in the National Assembly, I would be saying, order, honorable member, the challenge that you've just explained, I was about to ask a question because the guest of honor raised an issue of financial capacity and also internet penetration. So when you look at that in your programming, do you deliberately consider this particular population that may not have access to internet, and how do you reach out to them, or how do you create an innovation that is sort of inclusive?
Okay, thank you so much. Well, we work in the community, and that's where we are found, where the people are. When we get to the communities, if, let's say, for example, I'll give you an example. If we would have dancers on stage, your attention would be drawn to the stage. So how we inform, how we civic educate, is by mobilizing using our art and talents to the communities. Yeah?
Thank you so much. So we skip you a bit because you spoke about it, but let's get to Chikula Mayembe women. I saw your presentation, PowerPoint. What it means is you have access to a computer and all that. How are you using technology to reach out to your communities?
Okay. Of course, it's a challenge, looking that we are coming from rural area. A lot of people don't have a smartphone, but we tried our best that at least the others should learn new technologies, should have those that have a smartphone. We communicate, sending like case, some evidence using the phone, whether WhatsApp. Sure.
Other innovations, any other innovation that you are using and you think it's working?
Related to
just reaching out to communities, but we may come back to you again. Don't mind. Team Vekwa Inoyo, Hub 22. Njira zimene mugwiritsa ntchito zamakono pofikira anthu mugwira ntchito madera osiyanasiyana ntawo ndi kumidzi komwe. Not everyone who have access to a smartphone, but through one of our donors, we have smartphones that we have placed in different areas and different districts, and those ones have become very important tools for communications to our communities. But again, there are also people that through their own initiatives, most women are now acquiring a smartphone, and that has become an easy way of sharing messages. So yes, we are getting there. And before we get to another question, Chukula Mayembe wanted to say something more?
Yes, it's related to smartphone. We always update the page, so some people find got information from our page.
Well, so it as much as many people may not have the smartphones, but still for those that have, who still access the messages through your Facebook page. Alipo nditu anda kumazi tsatira kudzera pa tsamba lathu la Facebook. Cholinga chake ndudu tenga ufikire anthu ambiri akutera kuchora kuchikula Mayembe women timve Solina.
All right, thank you. My name is Konex Komba, and I come from Ivy Foundation, which is an organization that works with human rights issues, especially for lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and queer issues. So my question is going back to the issue of inclusivity. There was silence on issues to do with, on all the interventions that were talked about. There was nothing that was talked about concerning lesbian and transgender women. So just breaking down my questions, the first one, I wanted to ask to Youth Response for Social Change. You mentioned something to say you're taking girls out of marriages. So in the society, we see that there are girls who are going, especially lesbian girls, whenever parents see that you are a lesbian or you belong to the key population, you are gay or whatever, when they know, they disown you. And most of the times, when people are disowned, especially the lesbian women, they would prefer to get married to somebody else so that they survive in the society. So how are you going around those issues? Have you ever had an intervention to say we are also targeting this population, or are you partnering with any other organizations that are doing any work to do around those lines? And also, another question is going to Tintendere Foundation. You mentioned something that as part of the rehabilitation that you do, you're working with Young Life, which is a Christian organization. And my concern is, I feel like there is a conflict of interest to say that most of Christian centers or most of Christian interventions will take out LGBTI issues to say these are not welcome in our spaces. So suppose you're working with somebody who belongs to the LGBTI population, and you take them to say, okay, we are working with Young Life and we are going through this process. How are you going to integrate the LGBTI person to be part of your intervention without having a conflict of interest? Thank you.
Youth Response, we get to you first, issues of LGBTI. So in this room, thou shalt not choose which rights to promote. Rights for all. How are you dealing with issues of LGBTI in your programming? And then we'll get to the Tim Tendere.
Yeah, thank you so much for that proactive question raised. As Youth Response for Social Change, in Machinga district, currently we never gotten that angle to do with the lesbian, but if that is the case, in the next years we are going to make sure that there is that inclusiveness. Thank you so much.
Ife padali vanopankhani mene sinambe kuunikirapo koma ndathokoza chifukwa cha funso lanu munapoyang'anira patsogolo ndi nkhani imodzi imene ifeyo ndithu tiyang'anapo kuti tichitepo kenakake. Tim Tendere.
Thank you so much for the question. Your question was based on Young Life being a spiritual group. How are we dealing with people in the gay community? Well, as Christians, we believe love is the center of all. And we are not necessarily, or have not necessarily looked into those rights, or have not really included that. But we have never segregated anyone regardless of their sexual orientation. We take them all as equal, and when we are doing our activities, we do not stigmatize whoever or whatever they choose to be. Thank you.
Akuti feyo sitima salawina aliyense potengera chilengedwe chake chifukwa ngati gulu timangana zofuna za wina aliyense komanso malamulo akulu a dziko lino imene ndifundo imene ndikuonjezera ine amanena kuti munthu msamusale, don't discriminate based on sex or issues of gender. That's the response. Komabe mwina titakumva nawobe kwa chikula mayembe ngati funso lomwe alimva kumbali yanu zikutani kumene kwako issues of LGBTIQ.
Yes, Chikula Maembe we are doing, but not much because like there is the resistance to community to accept these lesbians. So even for them, they don't want to be so right. So it's an issue we need to put effort.
Mwina ndinkhani imene tifati unikire chifukwa kwathu kuzukanga tambiri sanavomerezebe pamakhala mavuto osiyanasiyana komanso amene ali malesbianiwo sabwera poyera chifukwa cha bene zinthu zilili komanso mene zinthu akuzimvetsetsera kumudziwo komabe ndinkhani imene ikufunika kuti mwina mwake titachitapo kanthu. Mayi wanga Hub 22 munakambapo nthawi ina yake nkhani yokhuza anthu amene amabadwa ndi ziwalo mwina khanga mwina swamkazi mwina samamuna mwina tiyambire pamene popo ntchito imene mugwirapo pofikiraso gulu limeneli la LGBTIQ.
Poyera koma kuyambira last year akumabwera poyera amba kuti joina ndesi timasala timatha kugwira nawo ntchito chifukwaso iwowo ndi azimayi ngati ifeyo. Ababa ndekuti ambiri ajoina ngati Hub 22 tinawo anthu amenewa alipo anthu atatu amene anabwera poyera koma ena amazibisabe timatha kumamva kuti uyu ndi lesbian koma sanabwere potani kodi poyera koma anthu atatu ndi amene abwera poyera ku Hub 22.
As we are talking, we have three members of the we have three people who have actually joined us, and we are doing something as Hub 22 on issues of inclusivity. I guess, do we still have some more questions? We need to get 1, 2, then we get somewhere there. You choose your target, or
my question goes to Hub 22. You talked about feminist movement building as an approach, which you do community work. So right now, in feminist movement, we are focusing much on the fourth wave of feminism, which mostly focuses on intersectionality and also issues to do with is it healthcare? Something like that. So I want to understand that how do you incorporate intersectionality and the fourth wave of feminism?
Just for some of us, the intersection, what does it mean?
So intersectionality, that means you're including everyone, people living with disabilities, you're including the LGBTQI community, people with race, people living with albinism, everyone, like literally everyone. You're including everyone in the work. Yes, no, even age. Yes. Yeah.
Hub 22 mnakamba ponkhani ya feminism approach akuti butifotokozere kuti mugwira ntchito makamaka motani pofikira magulu osiyanasiyana ndi mmene munafotokozeramu zikomo. Madi? pankhani ya feminism kuti njira imodzi yomwe magwiritsa ntchito ndikufikira wina aliyense kandi LGBTI ka anthu aulumalo osiyanasiyana anthu osiyana zaka moteromo kutanthauza kuti simukungoyang'ana gulu limodzi la anthu osiyanasiyana ndiye atamafuna mungotsindika mbali imeneyoyo ndithu muli pa ntchito kwambiri tu hub 22
ife ngati hub 22 timagwira ntchito ndi mzimayi wina aliyense sitimatengera kuti mzimayi uyuyu ndokalamba kapena ndo aulumali kapena ndosiyana ziwalo pobadwa kapena ndi lesbian timakhala tikukumana pa wiki iliyonse ngati pa habu komanso timakumana pa TA level pa mwezi uliwonse ndesi zimativuta kuti tigwire ntchito ndi mzimayi wina aliyense osiyana ndi mmene alili msinkhu wake mwinanso nansi akhoza kuonjezera zina.
aha aitanano nanse kumeneko kono tsopano kudatsindika
komanso tili ndi radio program imene imachitika Monday pa MBC tinapanga program imene kuti azimayi adziwe kuti azidziwa umwini wa thupiri ndi ufuluso komanso azidziwa kuti kunja kunodi kuli nkhanza chifukwa chakuti anthu ena amangokhala tikamaphunzira feminist timanena ngati kuti tili mchinyumba master house ndiye mzimayi wina aliyense pofika 2029 tifuna kuti tidzatuluke mu chinyumba chimenechi tisakhaleso mchinyumbachi tikhale kuti tonse tilipozindikira tisakhalire mbuyo zikomo.
As long as you're a woman, you are our business. So the issue of intersectionality is actually covered there according to HAB 22. There was a question here.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much to a very, very professional guest and panelist, and thank you for the work that you're doing. It's truly inspiring to see what you're doing in the communities. I just had a question more specifically for Chikula Maembe Women Forum and the Youth Response for Social Change. I believe that you guys target so much in the communities where there are different cultural norms and beliefs, but also the communities that are striving or driven by patriarchy systems. So I just wanted to appreciate the reality. To what extent do you bring out the reality of your work in such working environments? How do you make sure that your targeted beneficiaries are responsible, are getting on board without intimidated by the patriarchal systems that they live accordingly to? So I want you guys to explain to me or to answer my question in the lens of maybe if you can give me 2-3 examples where maybe you see a young person demanding for justice despite the persistence of patriarchal norms pulling the person down, or a woman depending on maybe a land issue or something, and her still persevering over the issue. So I want you to answer my question using 2 or 1 example from your work that you have witnessed. Thank you.
Chikula Maembe, there you go. You got the question right?
Yeah. For example, as Chikula Maembe, we use influential people. For example, the chief, the paramount himself, to be involved, to be champion of this patriarchal system, the culture. We understand the culture is dynamic, it changes. So through lobbying, we have seen that now we have women who are chiefs. We have women that own their own land. During the presentation, I think there was a picture showing women that they have papers, they were showing papers, evidence papers that the chief signed as a witness that they have land. The land was given to the woman. Another example is chief. During the video, there was a woman putting a black hat. That shows that that hat shows that you are a chief. So it's another evidence that now women in Rumpi are becoming chief. They are taking the chieftainship.
Thank you so much. So youth response, you may also tackle that from matching. If you have had cases where a woman or indeed a young person would like to do something what is right, but culturally they're pushed down.
Yeah, we are looking for girls that aim high in terms of accessing education at high level. But there is a block in terms of culture that a girl shouldn't be schooled. Should not go to school. So there is a block. But as youth response, we engage gatekeepers, traditional leaders, immediate parents, male champions, uncles, to make sure that they understand the current nature of information, that they should provide space for girls. That's why you have seen in the presentation that there is kind of number of girls that has been rescued from marriage and returned back to school. So that environment is still there, but we are still having resistance from the community, but we're still pushing to make sure that at the end of the day we meet the desired results so that we can achieve Agenda 2063. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the responses, and also thank you so much for the questions. And I'm afraid you have a question. It should be a very quick one because we need to wrap up. And you also have a question or a comment. It should be very quick and targeted. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Chifundo Julu. I've got a question for Tintemndere. Yes, you're working with street-connected children and children in general. I just wanted to know what the safeguarding measures you have to protect kids, being as kids are a very, very vulnerable group. And also, to what extent do you collaborate with social welfare to ensure that you're getting consent and informed consent from parents of the children and the children themselves to publish their images and their videos on social media? And what that exposure is, how that exposure is affecting the kids, and what exactly the kids are benefiting from these programs that you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maybe let me just quickly get the last one, then we get to you.
Thank you. My name is Santa Marie Jabez. My question goes to Youth Response for Social Change. In your presentation, you talked about human trafficking. If you go outside today, human trafficking is one of the major issues. How are you surviving as a youth group? Which channels do you use, especially mwakawudi mwapeza antuwa mmadani now, because antamena kupanga business many, there are people surviving using the same businesses. Muruza urijani bwana. Ziko.
Thank you so much. When you're working with street-connected children, you look at issues of their rights, consent, and what have you. And then human trafficking, quite a serious, syndicate. Just how do you survive? Very quickly.
Let me start with, what do these kids benefit from our program? In the presentation, there was one thing that was clear that I said. I talked about how we are using this program to develop skills in the kids using sustainable income generating skills. And I also talked about how these kids go out in performances and how they use the income that we generate from these performances to pay for their school fees. Most of the kids that we work with, street-connected kids, do not have parents. And most of the ghetto community kids that we work with have either single parents or, I would rather use the term, irresponsible parents. These kids are kids that roam about in the ghetto community as if they have no guardian at all to begin with, which is very sad. Because these kids, at the end of the day, are being denied their right to education, their right to a healthy life, their right to parenthood, and to have a normal life just like any other child does. Now, when it comes to consent, as with what I have said, you can see that I would give an example. When Barefoot Law came to shoot our interview, we had a challenge with our 7-year-old kid who we were supposed to seek media consent, and the mother happens to be in South Africa. And when we contacted the mother, we said, we need to seek your consent on the media files that will be released out to the audience. And you find out that the mother says that this kid lives with the brother that beats this child every single day. This child literally doesn't take a bath every single day. And every day I visit this community, it's now our responsibility to make sure and find out if the child has fed, if the child at least has taken a shower or a bath. So you can see that as an organization, we have a particular procedure that we use, that we make sure that whatever programs we have and whatever activities we have, the parents must know and we must seek consent first. So before every child becomes a part of Tim Tendere Foundation, a form is sent out to the parents where they fill out to accept our terms and conditions. Because if we look at the nature of our programs, we are using art, we're in the arts and entertainment, and we're using dance and music. We're performing. When we go to these places, a lot of media is taken. We cannot work with just someone who just comes. We've had an incident before where one child just joined our group like that. The parent came and we said, we do not recognize your child because every child that we have the consent of the parents to take media footage in whatever things we are doing. That's to answer the question. Now, to go to the question to say, how are we incorporating the safety of these kids when it comes to the social welfare, and how are we working with them? Our partner so far was Chisomo Children's Club for Street Kids, which closed down in 2017. But the people that work there, that work with the street kids, still work there. Our network is with them whenever we have issues to do with street kids. And honestly, it's a very big challenge when it comes to street kids. Because street kids do not behave like human beings. Street kids have a very, very different heart, per se. I don't know if that, that language would be suited, but you can help a street kid child today, but tomorrow they'll go back in the street. You can give a street kid all the resources they need. You can send a street kid back to school. Tomorrow you still see him back on the street. So like I said, if you paid attention to the beginning of the presentation, that our goal and our solution is not to solve solutions that are fruits of bearing, but to go to the root. And we discovered that these street kids are back in the streets because of culture. It is a tradition. It is a whole full community that is transferring from the mother to the kid, to the kid, to the kid, and the generation, and it goes on. So if we were to talk about social welfare, we've had incidences where we've had the kids being arrested at the police station, and we have to go and we have to negotiate.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know you can actually go on and on, but at least the question has been responded. We hear from youth response, and
Thank you so much for the question. Indeed, youth response, one of the area that we tackle is to do with human trafficking. So we make sure that we work with community leaders, especially chiefs, young people themselves, social welfare, police, immigration, and border police, so that there is some kind of network and a block for those that are trafficking our girls to Mozambique. When we found that there is a potential victim that need to be repatriated back to Malawi, we link up with immigration guys, police, and the police connect with their counterpart in Mozambique so that they can go around and identify that potential victim and they repatriate to Malawi. So for us, in terms of support, what we would do is a referral to social welfare and police so that they can take over their responsibility as a government. They need to support. So for agents, agents and traffickers, since it's a business, it's beyond our control. What we do is to follow up the case to police so that the police guys should make sure that those agents and traffickers are being arrested so that the case should be referred to court for a matter of hearing and being jailed. I mentioned the figure there that we have as a matter of record keeping, that some of these agents and traffickers has been arrested, but it's still a gap since it's a community and a border. There are some that are using feeder roads within our community that we cannot able to identify. But working together with the communities, we are able to track in our capacity. Thank you so much. Maybe my colleague may add Asma Kapolepa if that needs to be.
Thank you so much. Let me ask our representative just to stand. And yeah, you can stand. I know that you've made very inspiring presentations. Mwalankhula zomveka kwambiri mwina pakhozongo khala mawe nake omaliza koma achangu amene mwina mukanafuna kuti okhawo mulankhule mwina msaka otche blanket tiyambira komwe uko ku hub 22 mawu amodzi achangu pankhani zimene takambirana pano.
Mawu anga amodzi achangu ndonena kuti ifeyo ngati a hub 22 timafuna kuti nkhani zomwe zili ku makhoti zizifulumiza komanso mapezeka kuti munthu akagwiririra ngati agogo adagwiririra mwana adzaka 82 mwanayo wa 2 years ananena kuti agogo alibe mulandu kumeneko ndi kunchinji mwanayo panopa kumavutika kukodza ali ndi vutobe amuononga koma agogo ajapita kwatani kakhala pa khomo.
Chabwino nkhani zikhoza kukhala zambiri, but I think her last word she's actually saying cases in courts are taking forever. May we have speedy justice. We have a case of an 82-year-old man who defiled a 2-year-old who is actually struggling as we are talking. The child is injured, but the case is nowhere. They are saying the perpetrator has no case. So it's a plea to the judiciary or indeed the justice system. Chukura Mayembe.
Okay, thank you so very much. As Chukura Mayembe, we are looking forward to this forum, our organizers, to support us by linking us with different networks. We understand at a national level there is networks, but because we are there at Lulo, we are not well known. We need to be part of different network related to legal justice. Thank you.
Tathokoza kwambiri akuti zimene tikuchita tukambira pano zipitirire zisalekere pomwepa iyayi uthenga so amphamvu chokera kurumpi kwa Chukura Mayembe. Youth response.
Yeah, ngati youth response chimene tikupempha chonena kuti as Malawian, let's work together. Let's make sure that justice is there. Amene akusowa justice anaja tathandize kuti adziwe makolo amene sakumvetsetsa malamulo tathandize malamulo amene tili nawo tathandauzire nakhale muchichewa muchiyawo muchitumbuka muchilankhulo chilichonse kuti wina aliyense adziwe ndithu kuti Malawi kuno tili ndi malamulo awa tikuthanso kuwagwiritsa ntchito. Zikomo kwambiri.
My plea is let's decentralize the legal knowledge. Let's bring it down to a common person. It must be in local languages, Chichewa, Tumbuka, Chiao, Sena, Lomwe, and all those, so that people can benefit from the same. Thank you. Tim Tendere.
Team Tender Foundation, it's unfortunate. It's very fortunate that he's just said what I wanted to say, because I feel like many young people don't know the law because it's too hard to understand. So I think my plea to the legal laws is to just help us simplify the law to a language that they would understand better. Thank you.
So the same plea ndithu kuti malamulo aja akhale ogwiritsa anthu azigwiritsa ntchito tentanthauzire malamulo komanso lamulo likhale pafupi ndi anthu ncholinga choti anthuwo azitha kugwiritsa ntchito malamulo amene. Ndikuthokozeni kuyankha mafunso si chinthu chophweka komanso mugwira ntchito yotamandika. Let's give them a round of applause, a big one for that matter. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Takuthokozani. I need a hand just to remove the chairs and then we proceed with our program. Yes, so to continue with our program, we invite on stage Madam Ruth Kigozi, who is the lead researcher, to come in front. And indeed, she's the one who is also going to take us through the award presentation. Of course, she will invite Madam Sophie Racine, advocate and specialist in rights, justice and peace, also to come on stage, but I think she will explain how it's going to happen. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you, sir. Can we clap for the very wonderful, very engaging session that we've had with you, sir? I'm called Ruth Chigozi. I am on this SMOT project. I am the lead researcher. I work with Barefoot Law in this project, so my role is to do research in access to justice. Okay, so how many of us in here are lawyers? 1, 2, 3. Okay, the rest of us are like me. Okay, how many are paralegals? Only 1. Okay, so the rest of us have an idea of law, but we are not necessarily lawyers, right? Yeah, I'm also like that. So I have a question to you, all of us here. What is the difference between a good lawyer and a great lawyer? Who knows? A good lawyer, yeah? And then a great lawyer. What's the difference? Anyone knows? No one? Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah? Yeah? Uh-huh. 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 The great one. All right. Thank you, sir. Can we clap for him? My answer is very simple. A good lawyer is the one who knows the law. But a great lawyer is the one who knows who? The judge. This is the difference. Yeah? You're more likely to get something done if you know the behaviors of the judge. Am I lying? No? All right. So my role here is to tell you how did we come up with the winners that you're going to see. So the MOT project is part of the bigger research project that it is seeking to understand the innovations that are happening in access to justice. For example, we look at technological innovations. I like the question from the lady seated here. She asked, what technological aspects are you putting into your work? So that's one of the aspects that we look at. What approaches, how are you making the processes better? Okay, how are you making the processes to access to justice cheaper? So all those are forms of technological, not just technological, are forms of innovation. So quickly, I'm hoping my presentation is going to be here in a minute. Not yet. While it's coming, okay. While it is coming, I'm hoping it will get me and you'll be able to see that slide that I am on. Just a second. Okay. In this 1 second, I know I have had very nice food. Can we stand up and stretch? I guide the stretching, or you don't want to stretch? Let's stretch. Yes, I love the answer. Can we stand up for just 1 minute as we stretch? We stretch with these very nice foods that Sunbird has given us. It is important that we actually, it is important we get some stretch. I love the people who are actually going all the way down, all the way. Yeah, I like that. Thanks, mom. Yes. Yeah. All right. Yeah. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Are you feeling better? You know you should be energized for the next session. That's where the real. All right. Here it is. Now at least the projector is here. Now the presentation. Oh yeah, here we are. Next, I'm going to ask you to run the slide for me. Okay, so as part of the research, we conducted a crowdsourcing contest, and this was conducted between May and June. How does crowdsourcing work is we put out a challenge for everyone. Like, how many of us saw the challenge that we put out as Barefoot Law? No one? Okay, so how did you apply if you didn't see the challenge? Okay, at least someone extended it to you. We put out the advert of we want to know what innovations you're doing, what approaches are you using to improve access to justice, and we advertised that challenge on the organization website. How many people saw it from the BFL website? None. How many people saw the challenge from Facebook? BFL Facebook? All right. Thank you, ma'am. At least 2 or 3. How many people saw the challenge on WhatsApp? Yeah, 3. At least 1. So the rest of us, where did we see the challenge? Oh, we didn't even see it. Or some didn't see it. Okay, but at least people submitted. So someone saw it. So the challenge was also run on partner websites. And at the end of the period, we put out the challenge for 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and then we got a total of 31 submissions. 31 people submitted or organizations submitted, and all the submissions were from 11 districts. Can I, before I go to the next slide, can you tell me at least the district that you know that applied? Where is Team Tendera based? Blantyre, another district? Which one? Madinga, which other one? Lilongwe, yeah, another one? Rumpi, yes. All right, next slide, thank you. Those are the districts where we got innovations from. Blantyre, Karonga, Lilongwe, Machinga, Mulanje, Mzuzu, Neno, Nkotatoka, I hope I've pronounced this well, Rufi, Tailo, and Zomba. The biggest number was from Lilongwe, here. Okay, can we continue? So how did we select outstanding innovations? So selection of outstanding innovations was not done by one person. I'm clearly the expert of research in the room, but I didn't do it alone. It was a team of people. That was the lead research, of course, and then there were experts of Barefoot Law. We had experts in legal matters. We had experts in community engagement. We have experts in M&E and communications, but we also engaged our partner here, Justice, Gender and Justice Unit. Okay? And what was the criteria? We didn't just judge and say, oh, I'm attracted to things that help support girl child, boy child. So it's not that my interests were the ones that should be taken in place. No, we had a very scientific way to evaluate and assess the submissions that were given, and we used 5 scales of 5 points. The first one was innovative, so that the team judged to see, does the solution present, is it creative? Is it unconventional? Yeah. Is it a new approach? Does it change the status quo? Is it improving access to justice? So that was the innovative criteria. And then we went to affordability. So we asked the question, is the solution affordable? Those who are excluded in the local context, is it more cost effective compared to what actually exists? And then we looked at effectiveness, and effectiveness was defined as the solution. Does it actually work? What you say that solution is going to do, does it do it? Or does it do something else? And then scalability, this is very easy. Can what you're proposing or what you're doing, not even proposing, what you're doing, can it be done outside of where you are? Is it scalable? Can you grow it? Can you increase it? And then for sustainability, we assessed to see if the solution is sustainable. It's not going to break down in the next 6 months or 1 year. And is it durable? Next slide. All right, so out of the 35, remember we said 35 submitted. Out of the 35, a team sieved out 15 submissions that scored the highest. So in those criteria, we scored. Yeah, so we came up with the total, and then we picked the first 15 that had the highest scores. Now, our role after picking the 15 submissions to actually see, do these submissions exist? You know, in Uganda, someone can write something, and they say, Ruth Chigozi, I do this and this and this. But once someone comes to see what I do, it actually doesn't exist. I sat down and wrote it. I see you smiling. I know it happens in Malawi, isn't it? Yeah. All right. So that from the 15, we needed to verify, do they really actually exist? Or is someone sitting in a room somewhere and saying, this is what we do, this is what we do, and they actually don't do it. We were not interested in innovations that are still in someone's mind or paperwork. No, we were interested in innovations that actually are under progress. They are working. All right. So we did that verification. That's when we worked with our partners here, and we ensured that whatever is being put on the paper or what is submitted is actually true and it is running. It's very interesting that once we did that, a good number of the submissions were actually not existing. People had sat code down and were writing the things. All right. So from that exercise, we picked 4 submissions. And after those 4 submissions, we put the 4 submissions to public voting. Okay, I'm sure most of you now are on the area of public voting. How many of us voted? 1, 2. But this table, you didn't vote. No one voted. No. Okay. All right. But we had many votes. All right. Maybe the votes are not in, and not the people are not here. So we put it out for public voting. You voted. Malawians voted. And the results that we are going to show you today are going to be that. So we had public voting. That is public participation. And one of the reasons why we put it for public voting is that for this particular project, we are interested in making the innovations that are happening in Malawi to be known, to let the world know about them. So that's part of the reasons why we put them for voting. It's one of our objectives. And then we are also putting it out for opportunity for growth. For example, Team Tendere, us making a video of it and posting it and letting the world know about it brings up opportunities. Ochikwe Maembe, yeah? It gives opportunity for people to know what you're doing, not just Barefoot Law, but even other partners who are interested in innovation, to be able to reach out to you and see how you can partner. So it's part of the objectives that we are doing, why we are doing the MOT project. Next slide. Okay, so the voting was on Twitter. How many of us are on Twitter? Very few. Some people voted on Facebook. How many of us are on Facebook? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have a good number of Facebook people. And then how many of us, also the voting was on SMS, for those of us who do not have smartphones. So how many people had their votes sent through SMS? Not the ones in this room. The ones in this room are very tech savvy. You either use Facebook or you use Twitter. All right, so the voting, we gave you 2 weeks to make the votes. Barefoot Law did not participate. Did not participate at all in the voting. So we ran it for 2 weeks, and we got the overall results. So experts aggregated the votes from the 3 channels. Please note, 3 channels, not just 1 channel. So you might be there thinking that you had the highest votes in SMSs, but we had very low votes in Twitter. So we get aggregates of all the 3 channels, okay? So we ensured that we removed every form of, in research we call it duplicates. So we removed duplicate votes. If you voted more than 2 times, we picked only 1 vote for you. We didn't pick more than 1 for you. I hope it is clear. Any questions about that? Yeah, okay. Next slide, results. All right. So before I bring up the results, I want to invite Madame Sophie. Oh yeah, all right. Madame Sophie, please come and join me. Miss Habiba. Miss Habiba, please also come and join me. I also need a 3rd person. I need actually 3. And ma'am, yes, yeah. Yeah, just come here. Yeah. I hope you guys are breathing, especially our innovators. Have you stopped breathing? I'm praying that you, Tim Tender, are you breathing? You're trying to breathe. Let your good neighbor. All right. So yeah. Oh, all of us are ladies. I like this. Shina, don't you like it? I do? Okay. All right, so we are going to give our esteemed members. Each of them is going to have a check, but I don't want them to... please don't show it. They hide it. Yeah. Okay, so once they give you the check, please don't show it. I'll ask you to show it, yeah? Then you show it. Our media people, I hear people telling you sit down. You don't sit down. You just get a space where people can actually see. Please hold this. Alright. This is the second. This is the third. Okay. This is alright. Okay. Alright, now let's hold our breaths. If you want to say a prayer, say it. Say it very say it very fast. So I'm going to ask, and do you know drum rolls? Like we don't have a drum here, so we are going to do a drum roll on our tables, yeah? Okay? So let's do a drum roll. I'm going to ask Miss Habib to open hers as we drum roll. Please join me. Yes! All right. Yes, yes, yes. All right. It's as if... All right. So we want to call Youth Response for Social Change to come and join us here. Please just take your place. Okay. Yeah. Hey, you have the drum roll. Okay, let's join our drum roll. Let's ask our Justice Lady. Yes, ma'am. Let's do drum roll to open up her shake. Chikula Mayembe Women's Forum, please. Yes. Come and join us. Come join us. Yes. Can we... All right. All right, let's join there. You shake the hand first, but I also want to get the third one. All right. Drum roll. We ask Madame to do. Yes, 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 ma'am. All right, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Open up, open up. Yes, can you reveal the check? Can you? Yes, 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 open. Yes. Hub 22. Yes, Hub 22. All right, all right. Thank you so much. So we have Youth Response for Social Change, we have Chukula Maembe Women's Forum, and we have Hub 22. I'm going to invite the MC. Where is the MC? So we are going to have the first, our Hub 22 shake their hands, take the picture, but you say it in Chichewa. Yes, so each one of us, we shake the hands, and then you say it in that language. Here, Hub 22.
Mugare janza ndakula amenewa, so shaking hands up to the end. Yeah, so in your Hub 22 ndo mugwira chanza chao kenaka mulandirano katundu amene executive secretary udaka dango khala wanga inenso ndudaka dango khala wanga. Thank you so much. Niyo mutakupira nitumuka kale. Nditu Hub 22 ntumuza Hub 22 zimenezo. Kenaka would do the same. From there, yes. Chabwino nde inuso mukena mukale pansi. And on the last part, yes, the youth response kumeneko chanza. Ziko mwambiri. Thank you so much. Let's give it a big hand. It finally got better. It finally got beautiful. Thank you so much.
All right, can we give a hand clap to our leaders even as they take their seats again? Okay, so we want to congratulate our winners. I'm seeing, what are they called? These breaths of like that kind of like relief, yeah? I want to congratulate, and not I, Barefoot Law wants to congratulate the winners. We are praying that you will be able to use the little seed fund that Barefoot Law and Mort project is giving to improve and make better the work that you're doing. Now I'm going to invite our Miss Sophie to come and give us closing remarks, and then the MC, I'll be looking for you. Take over, yes.
Thank you, Ruth. Very quickly, I just want to share with you that I have known Barefoot Law since 10 years ago. I was in Uganda in 2013, and a young, bright person came to see me at the Democratic Governance Facility in Kampala. And he was not a lawyer. He was very savvy with ICT, and he was very touched by the problems in his community. And he wanted to know if he could have some funding from the DGF to start something. You could see all the ideas in his head. And I said, well, we cannot just support you as an individual. You should create an NGO, then we could fund you. He was not so keen in developing an NGO, but he was really fascinated in how he could do a little bit of change in Uganda. And so he had some friends from university that were lawyers, they were finishing. I was so impressed. It was not the money that was driving him. It was really this will to be innovative and create something that could help resolve injustice, especially for people that really suffer in the communities. So, but he kept coming at me at the DGF, and we never gave Barefoot Law any money, but we integrated him in our legal aid program because he was so innovative. Actually, he helped us. All the other NGOs that we supported, they were helped by these youth, so innovative, making our program more technology savvy and yeah, benefiting from their knowledge. So this gentleman was Gerald Abila. He's the founder of Barefoot Law in Uganda. And I'm so honored that they asked me to come here, I think because I knew Barefoot Law and I've worked with them for a long time. So it's really an honor to be here with you. I'm inviting all of you to think of ways to be cost effective in all of your areas. In the courts, I know there's some ways to using Zoom for allowing testimonies. I know some NGOs, some judges are here. How can you use technology to make your work more cost efficient? I'm inviting you to hear about the lessons learned today and making the best use of it for spreading this passion, being more efficient in what we're doing with the resources that are every day very scarce to obtain. So I just want to congratulate you, especially the three that are the winners. Not to say that everyone that has participated would not deserve also those congratulations, but I know it was very hard to find the recipient for only three were allowed to receive this check. So congratulations to all the participants and especially for the winners, and may the joy continue with the MC.
Thank you so much for the remarks, and of course Ruth was just reminding me that maybe guest of honor would want to say some final remarks. Yeah, I know it's an ambush, and to hide behind Ruthie, not to be seen. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the honor. I didn't prepare for this, but just to say that I'm sitting here with they know a brother and a sister. So I was just encouraging them that though you didn't get this, but there are greater things to come. And like I said in my speech, there are a lot of unsung heroes, a lot of people who are doing amazing things on the ground that will not even mention their names. So congratulations to you, my brother and sister. And congratulations to the winners. I hope this encourages you to do even more, to give more. I know working in communities is not easy. There are a lot of sacrifices that in your presentation you didn't even talk about. But sometimes you handle cases that come while you are also having your own issues. And oftentimes you forget your cross and you carry other people's crosses. So you're dealing with your own issues of life, but you stop and focus on what others are going through. So I'm hoping that acknowledging you like this encourages you to even do more, to save others even more. And also an encouragement to all of us in this room that we can really carry one or two people on our shoulders in different ways. It doesn't have to be big. In however little way we can, let's make sure that people are accessing justice. It could be our neighbors. It doesn't have to be people from afar. Even in our families, yeah, we have injustices that sometimes it's us who are actually causing them. But let's be the change that we want to see, and the change starts with us. I didn't prepare for much, but I hope that encourages you, that encourages me and all of us to do more. And thank you, Barefoot and Gender Justice Unit, for the opportunity that I could be a guest of honor and speak on something that is close to my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the closing remarks, and I get your message quite well. We must be the change we want to see. Our child begins at home. We shouldn't just preach the word, but do it. And we must not say, don't read into my action, but just get my message. Surely that's a very, very powerful message, which also brings us to the very end of our engagement this morning. Titokoze nonse amene munabwera pa msonkhano amene komanso amene mwatsatira online tikatero tafika kumapeto kwenikweni kwa zochitika za lero. And just some very quick announcements. From here there will be a group photograph just outside, and then there will also be some transport refund just at the back, so we can come back after the group photograph, and then lunch will be served at Mimosa restaurant. Let me invite, you want to say something? Okay.
All right, so we thought we'd show you the results, okay? So what we wrote as MS form is actually the results from Twitter, then the results from Facebook, the results from SMS, the total, and then the positions, just to be clear. Yeah? You'll appreciate that information. Thank you so much. I can see people nodding your heads. Yes, all right, thank you.
It's a whole different era and generation. I mean, transparency and accountability is the currency of justice. So yeah, they really wanted you to appreciate how they arrived at these results. So that's it. No, thanks so much for being transparent about how you conducted your selection. So let me invite a volunteer to close with a prayer and indeed bless the food that we'll be taking at some point. Any volunteer? Actually, I got two, but yeah, God bless you all. Thank you.
Let us bow our heads and pray. Thank you, Lord, for being with us since morning that we commenced our deliberations. We appreciate your presence. We have seen good innovators here, and your encouragement through Barefoot and all other dignitaries that have spoken here. We appreciate the youth and the ladies that have taken part. Lord Almighty, as we are taking this through our country, we would like justice to prevail. And where there are resistance, may you please open so that each and everyone should see justice. As we are going for lunch, we ask for your blessings. As we are going for transport reimbursement, we are asking for your blessings, so that as we go home, we should all reach into various destinations. We ask you in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sheena. I work with Barefoot Law. So just proceed to the table behind. That's where you'll get your transport refund. And then we're going to take a picture outside on our way to lunch. Then we'll have lunch and you're free to leave at leisure. Have a good day.